You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. McLean Stadium roars to life as the Baylor line charges the field. The Bears, 1-1 after a statement win over SMU, look to keep the momentum rolling, while Samford hopes to shock the nation here today. And welcome upstairs with NFL vet Lige Douzable. I'm James Westling. Madison Hawk will join us from downstairs in just a moment. Okay, kind of a David versus Goliath thing going on here today. You've been on both sides. You've been the big guy, you've been the little guy. So what's the approach mentally?
Well, if you're Samford, you want to go out and be the best version of yourself. Their head coach, Coach Hatcher, said this is a nameless, faceless opponent. They want to go out there, play with fundamentals, play with their responsibility, and then let the chips fall where they may. And if you're Baylor, they still feel like, James, even after that big win last week, they haven't played up to the standard, right? They want to come out, play complimentary football, play to that standard no matter who the opponent is.
Well, their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, has been fantastic, putting up Heisman-like numbers through 2 games.
James, big, physical, strong arm, can rip it. You see it right there, leads FBS and pass yards. And he has NFL throws littered on his tape. Touch passes. You see it right here to Kobe Prentice on a fade route last week. Poise in the pocket. See it right here. Sometimes your job, just get it to your big playmakers. That's Cameron going up top, getting it. 4th and 3. Poise in the pocket. Look off the safety. Find Kobe Prentice for a touchdown to get him back in the game. And this is a frozen rope to Kobe Prentice to tie the game up and to get into overtime. Again, poise in the pocket. And what I really love about his game, you see it right there, James. He takes care of the football. 8 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions is why he's one of the front runners for the Heisman this year.
And the last Big 12 quarterback to put up these type of numbers the first 2 weeks of the season, Patrick Mahomes. 85 degrees at kick. It is much steamier down on the field here in Waco, Texas, as we get set for kickoff between the Baylor Bears, looking to make it 2 in a row. That come from behind victory. Heroics from both sides of the football at SMU. Meanwhile, Samford, they hail from Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, James, Coach Aranda talked about the fortitude of his team last week, right? Down 14, about 8 minutes left in the game. The defense had really struggled, but after Sawyer Robertson and his offense went out and scored, they were able to get a big-time stop, ultimately win that game in overtime.
Into the end zone for a touchback. We are underway here in Waco, and we will see the Samford offense first. They are explosive. Over 450 yards last week in a loss to the Citadel, but turnovers a major issue.
It's been an issue, and ball security has been talked about with head coach Chris Hatcher. You see Quincy Crittenden last year, very efficient throwing the football, led the SoCon in pass yards and completion percentage and touchdown passes. But you see it right there, 12 interceptions. That's what's kind of plagued him these last 2 years.
Crittenden was originally a walk-on. He's a developmental quarterback, now the starter for the 2nd year in a row. Quick completion to Jaden Gibson, who's been one of his favorite targets this season, as we take a look at our impact players.
On offense, Preston Bird and Jaden Gibson. You saw Jaden Gibson just catch the ball. He's a transfer in from Virginia, has played a lot of football. And then Keaton Thompson and Jacob Redding. Redding had a really good interception last week in the red zone versus SMU that kind of flipped that game. And Keaton Thomas is the green dot. He leads everything on defense.
A penalty on this second play from scrimmage.
77, false start. Number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That is the right guard, Caleb Purley, who transferred to Samford from Southeast Missouri State, was here last year after redshirting in 23, played in 7 games a season ago as a backup. This is a completely new team outside of the quarterback for Samford. A deflection at the line of scrimmage. It's batted down, setting up 3rd and long on Samford's opening possession.
Right there, Matt Powledge decides to send some pressure off the edge. You're going to see to your right of your screen the slot corner come in. DJ Coleman, he's their nickelback. Does a nice job matching the hands of Quincy Crittenden, the quarterback, to bat that ball away.
Coleman had 42 tackles a season ago. 3rd and long, pressure up the middle. Crittenden ejected from the pocket, throws towards the boundary, And over the head of his intended target, it's incomplete, and it sets up 4th down, and we'll see Samford on to punt.
Yeah, James, and if you're the Samford offense, the last thing you want to be is in 3rd and long, right? They had a false start that pushed them back, kept them behind the chains. This is a spread offense where the quarterback gets the ball out of his hands extremely fast. They want to matriculate the ball down the field, so 3rd and 14 doesn't bode well for them to have a high rate of success.
Noah Jones on to blast it away. The All-American punt returner, Josh Cameron, back deep. Baylor blocks it. Ball bouncing free. Still on the loose. And a Bear steps out of bounds around the 30-yard line. A special teams punt block sets up exceptional field position for the Bears.
It's a nice job by Baylor. Right there, it's just a missed block up the middle. Nice effort right there by number 20. He does a really good job matching the hands of the punter, right? Not leaning into him and missing it. He matches where the punter is going to punt the ball. But that was just a missed protection up front. The up back has to take that guy. He misses him. Easy block for the Baylor Bears, and now they get really good field position on their first drive on offense.
Baylor's offense, coordinated by Jake Spavital in his 2nd year, came over from Texas State. Both of these teams have gotten off to slow starts in the first quarter of games this season. Baylor just 3 points, and Samford none coming into this game. Robertson, quick throw on the outside. Wilson wiggles down to around the 20. A gain of 7. Robertson, remember, he wasn't the starting quarterback to start last year, finished strong and has picked up right where he left off. Another quick throw and a screen, and Wilson has the 1st down.
And you'll see this up-tempo offense led by offensive coordinator Jake Spavital. He said he felt like, James, they weren't up-tempo enough. So he wants to get that first down and really keep the up-tempo. Nice job right there by Sawyer Robinson, understanding he has leverage outside with only 1 defender, 2 receivers. He decides to throw the screen instead of run the ball.
Washington, a gain of a couple, carried the ball 31 times in that SMU game a week ago. They're hoping to manage his workload here today. Our impact players when Baylor's on offense as they look at 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, Josh Cameron, their receivers, their big body receiver, can go up and get those fade balls. Bryson Watson, we just talked about it, 31 carries. He was their workhorse last week. And Samford defense, Jaden Mosley leads the SoCon in tackles, an aggressive, instinctive linebacker. And Conroy Cunningham does a lot of the dirty work for Samford on the defensive line.
Robertson, an incompletion, but it draws a flag. Wanted his electrifying tight end, Michael Trigg, who was listed as probable.
Pass interference, number 17, defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic 1st down.
That's Amari Wainsley, a transfer from Murray State, on the coverage.
Yeah, they're going to try to run this fade route with Michael Trigg, who has receiver-like skill set. Just gets a little bit of the pull at the top of the route, and the ref throws the flag.
He got dinged up in that SMU game, getting the start. He's back in the lineup. Listed as probable coming into this one. 1st and goal for the Bears, knocking on the door from inside the 3. It's Washington hit at the goal line. All power. It's a touchdown.
It's a nice job by the offensive line up front. You're going to bring the tight end back across on the split zone, and that's just a nice physical run by Bryson Washington to get into the end zone. See it right here. Look at up front. Ibedior, number 68, does a nice job pushing his D-tackle into the end zone, and Bryson Washington just needs a sliver of space. He comes full steam ahead downfield and gets into the end zone.
Connor Hawkins on for the point after. Had the game winner in double overtime, the 27-yard field goal to take down SMU a week ago, and Baylor leads 7-0. Short field, short drive, 4 plays, 28 yards, this touchdown.
Bryson Washington finds pay dirt early for the Baylor Bears.
Baylor with an early score. They lead it by a touchdown, 7-0. Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robertson has completed his first 2 passes as we welcome in the third member of our team, Madison Hawk. Hey, Madison.
Hey, James. Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robertson was told 5 different times in his career that he wouldn't be the starter, that he was going to be the backup. And instead of giving up, he stuck with it. And now he is having a lot of success. Offensive coordinator Jake Spavital told me the success he's having is a direct correlation of what Sawyer learned from his time on the sidelines, his presence on the field, his patience in the pocket. All of that has led to Sawyer being an elite pocket passer. Guys, you mentioned it. He's putting up Patrick Mahomes numbers, a guy he really modeled his career after.
Born and raised in Lubbock, idolized Mike Leach and those air raid offenses. After the touchback, we will see Samford from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're the Samford offense, right, you want to be able to have a sustained drive right here. You just gave up a black punt, short field position, gave up a touchdown. You want to be able to rest your defense a little bit, right? You want to put a drive together. So if you're Quincy Crittenden, take care of the football, get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmakers on the outside.
They fake to the back, sling it out, and Baylor is all over it. Tevin Williams, the 5th-year senior, throws a blanket on Bird, and it's a loss of 3. So when Baylor is on defense, Ligier, your keys to the game, your do's and don'ts.
The do's for the Samford offense: protect the football. Samford had 5 turnovers last week in their loss for Citadel. It's the main reason they lost the game. They have to protect the ball. The ball is everything. Don't for the Baylor defense. Don't allow the Bulldogs' quick passing game to be effective. The Bulldog offense likes to spread you out and dink and dunk the ball down the field. The Baylor defense has to be tight in coverage and not allow that.
That completion, a simple pitch and catch. It goes for 8 to Preston Bird, who through 2 games has caught 20 passes for Samford.
He's our #1 playmaker on the outside, a really tough receiver. They'll even use him to block some defensive ends sometimes, James.
3rd down and 5. Fade, spinning, and it's over the head of his intended target. 2 Bears on the coverage. Calvin Jones, the receiver, a senior from Forest City, North Carolina, and LeVar Thornton on the coverage.
Yeah, and he's looking to have a bounce-back game. Last week, first play of the game, he had an opportunity for an interception, tips off his hands, goes for 75 yards and a touchdown. He later gave up a touchdown in overtime, but the coaching staff feels like he is their best corner on the outside. They're going to continue to put him in scenarios just like that in man coverage. He does a nice job of walling off the receiver to the sideline, getting his head around, and going up and trying to get that PBU.
Baylor blocked the first Samford punt, which set them up with a short field. This is returnable for Josh Cameron. A flag is out as he gets wrangled down short of the 30. 47-yard punt, 5-yard return, but we'll check on the penalty.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 81, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down Baylor.
Baylor's defense has forced back-to-back 3-and-outs.
Yeah, right there at the top, I believe that's number 27, Jumbo Gaskins, who's the starting star for this Bulldogs defense. He's coming down to make a special teams tackle, gets blocked in the back, and draws that penalty.
Offense trots onto the field, 1st and 10. Nose of the football, Baylor from its 18-yard line. Clean pocket for Robertson. He can spin it, and a diving grab from Cole Wilson. His 3rd catch already. That goes for 15.
Yeah, nice route concept. You have a quick out, and then you have a runoff. That's a nice hands catch by Cole Wilson. Sawyer Robertson puts it where only he can come down with it, but nice hand grab.
And here comes the tempo. And the all-league running back, Washington. They flag him down shy of the 40-yard line, a gain of 23 on the quick hitter up the gut.
That's a nice job by the offensive line. Simple zone concept. Number 62, Ryan Lingale, does a nice job comboing with Colton Saraki, who creates that hole in the A-gap, and Byron Washington hits the hole, gets an explosive run.
Baylor entered this game 71st in tempo. Coach Spavs said we have to be much faster on offense. Michael Trigg dancing for a gain of 3. The back half of last season, Baylor's offense averaged over 500 yards per game and scored over 40 per contest in their last 6 regular season contests.
And the thing about the up-tempo, James, you got to get that first down, right? Once you get that first down, there's a bevy of calls that the offensive line and playmakers know that they can go to keep it up-tempo.
Washington, a huge seam. Washington inside the 20. They wrestle him down at the 10. 31 yards. And Baylor's knocking on the door.
Nice pin and pull action you're going to see from your right side of your screen, number 69, Sidney Fugard. He does a nice job pulling and getting that block to spring his running back, Bryson Washington, for that explosive run.
Baylor has first and goal from the 10-yard line. Play fake. One-on-one coverage. Jump ball. Flag is out. Hits hauled in. Josh Cameron.
Pass interference, number 21, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
The emotional leader of that wide receiver room with his 3rd touchdown grab on the young season.
He's their big receiver. This is what we talked about earlier in impact players. He's their guy that they throw the fade to. You see it right here. Nice job high pointing it, but nice accurate throw by Sawyer Robinson on the back shoulder fade. Put it where only Josh Cameron could go up and high point it. Again, he's their big body receiver on the outside. 6'1", 225 pounds. He muscled out the defensive back like a power forward and comes down with the Baylor touchdown.
A 5-play, 82-yard scoring drive. A minute 59 off the clock. Cameron on the receiving end. Baylor humming here at home.
Coach Aranda wanted them to play to the standard. Get it to your big receiver. Let him climb the ladder and go get a touchdown for you.
Baylor scoring drive, 5 plays, 82 yards, less than 2 minutes off the clock. Now that is the Bear Ray tempo that fans want to see.
And I love the balance, right? And we talked to Coach Spavard all about that. And people will talk about, because he comes from the air raid tree, that he just spreads it out. He's like, no, I want to run the ball. Like, I want to continue to run the ball. If we get 4 yards, I run it again. And you saw Bryson Washington have 2 explosive runs. Then they mixed the pass with that, finding Josh Cameron and Cole Wilson on passes. Cameron catching a big-time touchdown in the red zone.
Baylor has capitalized in the red zone. 9 times on their 11 tries this year, 2 for 2 in this game, and they lead by 2 touchdowns. Ensuing kick into the end zone for a touchback. Now the Baylor coaches, Dave Aranda's their commander-in-chief, they were really hammering home the idea of complementary football.
And I love it, right? Because it's all 3 phases, not just offense and defense. You talked about it, James. Sometimes they felt like when the defense made a stop, the offense didn't capitalize. When the offense was cooking on offense, the defense would struggle. Well, so far in this game early, they've got contributions not only from the offense, not only from the defense, James, but the special teams as well getting involved with an earlier block punt.
Baylor by 2 touchdowns. This is the 3rd offensive possession for Samford. Running back gets tattooed. C.J. Evans decleated by Kylan Reed, an outside linebacker.
He does a nice job. You're going to see to the left of your screen. He walks up and disguises late and then adds and is unblocked. What a physical tackle in the backfield. You get a tackle for loss by Kylan Reed.
Second TFL in the early going. Evans twisting and corkscrewing out to the 35-yard line. A hard-earned run of 13 yards. Jenkins, the stopper in the secondary.
A nice bounce-back run from C.J. Evans after that tackle for loss.
Evans squirts through up the middle to move the chains and pick up the first down.
And talking to this coaching staff, right, they feel like their best personnel group, James, is 10 personnel, which is 1 back, no tight ends, 4 receivers. But they felt like with the physicality that Baylor plays with, they're going to play with a little bit more tight ends. So right now you see it, they're in 11 personnel with the tight end. They usually don't play with a lot of tight ends in their offense.
New set of downs for Samford to play with. Baylor making a late in the clock defensive substitution. Shoulder roll. Crittenton wings it to the boundary and it's caught. Nick Creighton, a freshman from the state of Alabama, picks up 5, and it's 2nd down and 5.
Love that call by head coach Chris Hatcher, who calls the offensive plays for this Bulldog offense. Get your quarterback in the easy rhythm, right? You want to roll him out to the left, find his receiver on a quick out route. It all goes back to staying ahead of the chains. That was an easy throw for Quincy Crittenden to Nick Creighton.
2nd down and 5. Running back Evans. They really like the transfer who played for Eddie George last year at Tennessee State. He was hurt most of the year, so he didn't get a lot of carries. Picks up 2 yards, and it's a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, he runs hard, James, and also a viable pass catcher out of the backfield. You'll see them, they'll get him the ball on some screens and also some checkdowns out of the backfield.
3rd and short. Samford 1 for 3 on 3rd downs. Quarterback draw. And Crittenton runs into a wall. Jackie Marshall. Coaches say he's 90% healthy today. He comes up with the stop.
Watch the 2 defensive tackles in the middle really do work. Number 0, Jackie Marshall, and also number 9, Cooper Lons. They do a nice job knocking guys back. Jackie Marshall, you talked about it. He's only about 80%, but you see the quickness and aggressiveness right there to disengage from that block and get that tackle for loss.
Cameron back deep to return, the All-American returner for Baylor. Shorter punt. Takes a huge Baylor hop, and it's batted out of bounds. Baylor will start this drive from around its 30-yard line. Just a 22-yard punt. Downtown Waco. Bears in control early. that played over a decade in the NFL. He is Lige Douzable, and why have keys to the game when you can have your do's and don'ts?
For the Baylor offense, continue to play to the standard. Baylor has one of the most explosive offenses in the country. They have to continue to play to that standard no matter who the opponent is, and a don't. For the Samford defense, don't allow Sawyer Robertson to be comfortable in the pocket. Robertson in the Baylor offense has been playing at an elite level. However, bringing pressure has caused them some issues. The Bulldogs can't allow Sawyer Robertson to be comfortable in the pocket.
A rope to the boundary. It's incomplete, and it sets up 2nd down and 10. Samford is coached by Chris Hatcher. 61 wins, most in program history, and he is one of the founding fathers of the air raid.
Yeah, had a lot of success at Valdosta, where I believe he played quarterback as well. You can see it right there, most wins in school history, has really turned the Samford program around.
On 2nd down, Washington. Gain of a couple. Not much real estate for the preseason all Big 12 running back. His yards per carry less than 4. Baylor wants to see an uptick in that number, but already 3 explosive plays in this first half.
And that'll help your average, right, James? They also had an explosive run last week versus SMU, but did a lot of the dog work in that game, right? A lot of the gritty, dirty work, 2 yards here, 3 yards here. Just saw him limp off the field, so hope he's good and he'll be able to return to the game.
3rd down and a long 8. Baylor had just 1 3-and-out last week against SMU, and this will set up 4th down. It's complete to Ashton Hawkins, but shy of the sticks. Out to the 41, a gain of 5.
What a tackle by number 2, Jalik Yancey. That's one-on-one and man coverage on a comeback route. If he misses that tackle, there's nothing but space and opportunity for the receiver to continue to run. That's a big 3-and-out by this Bulldogs defense.
And it's a complete overhaul for Samford defensively. Coach Hatcher told us of the 44 guys listed on their 2 deep, both sides of the ball, only 7 of the 44 have played any meaningful snaps of college football.
And that's the era we're in, right, James? When you talk about the NIL and transfer portal, it's hard to have that continuity on your team year in and year out. So a lot of teams, especially in the FCS level, they get poached by bigger schools. So your coaching job has to be elite in regards to getting a whole bunch of group of new guys to come in, buy into your system to have success throughout the season.
Baylor's punter, Palmer Williams, got out his driver and mashed that thing 59 yards into the end zone. Our upcoming ESPN slate on the linear side, Georgia and Tennessee today, the backyard brawl, Pitt and West Virginia, and Iowa State at Arkansas State, favored by 3 touchdowns, but that's Arkansas State's Super Bowl, their biggest home game in Jonesboro in over a decade. Samford trying to establish the ground game with Ken Cherry, who picks up 2 yards on the handoff, sets up 2nd down and 8.
There's a nice physical run, gets about 2 yards there. Again, you don't want the negative plays and you don't want the pre-snap penalties if you're Coach Hatcher in this Bulldog offense, right? You want to stay ahead of the chains, continue to get positive plays.
Crittenden, the seasoned vetted quarterback, staggers a bit and then completes it. Just drills in his fastball to the 31-yard line for a gain of 9. Torrey Ward, a freshman on the receiving end, for a 1st down.
Like Crittenden's movement in the pocket. Watch how he steps up here, James. Finds the receiver in the void. That's nice footwork. He slips, but is able to get balance and get under control. Find his receiver for a 1st down. That's nice footwork by Quincy Crittenden.
Samford led Florida State back in 2018, 23-21 with 6 minutes left. They lost the game by 10. They scored 52 points against Florida back in 2021, but lost 70-52. They have hung around against some Power 4 programs. Mississippi State in 2016 was a 2-touchdown game, 56-41. Usually it's their offense that keeps them in games. It's 2nd and 10 after an incompletion.
And James, that was the message from Coach Hatcher, right? We've been in these games before. Let's just continue to play our brand of football and let the chips fall where they may at the end of the game.
Some wiggle room for the tailback, Evans. A gain of 5, and it's a manageable 3rd down and 5 to gain for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Quincy Crittenden has done a really good job being able to maneuver in the pocket, get the ball out of his hands, find his playmakers. Right here, would not be surprised to see a whole bunch of comeback routes at the 1st down marker.
4-man rush, guy in his face, Crittenden in trouble, pulls through a tackle, still on his feet.
What a
Makes
play.
a cut to get the first down. There is a flag out. He made Devontae Tesno miss in the backfield, put him on skates.
What a Houdini play by Quincy Crittenden right here. He makes a couple guys missteps out, gives that guy the dead leg, gets some space, and picks up a big first down for the Bulldogs. Right now there's a player down.
It is the left tackle, Duncan Johnson, sophomore from Augusta, Georgia. Won the job in fall camp to be the anchor on the left side and protect the quarterback's blind side. The officials are huddled up over the nose of the football. They have moved the chains to indicate to Samford first down.
Like maybe hyperextended the knee right there. The good thing is we just saw Duncan Johnson walk off on the field on his own power, so that's always good. You see him right there limping on the sideline, showing his toughness. And I'm just glad the young man was able to get off on the field on his own power.
There was a lot of traffic around the quarterback, but Crittenden with a big time play for Samford to keep this drive alive on third down.
And James, we talked about it in the intro, right? David versus Goliath, right? And when you're David, you got to make plays like that, like Quincy Crittenden just did on that third down to keep your offense on the field.
Shotgun snap in the hole. It is dropped. Second down and 10. Crittenden has hit on 5 of 10 throws. It was the freshman Creighton who couldn't reel it in.
But his receivers have let him down a couple of times. We saw Jaden Gibson with a drop earlier, and right there, Nick Creighton, that hits him right in the middle of his hands, and he drops the football.
Empty backfield. Setting up the screen on the outside to the 50, Torrey Ward. Picks up a good chunk of 7 yards. It's third down and 3 for Samford.
And that's a nice job by Quincy Crittenden. Watch how he looks off left, screen back to the receiver to the right. Nice job by the offensive line getting out. Coach Hatcher, the offensive coordinator or head coach, is calling a really good game right now, and he's keeping this Baylor defense, especially on this drive, off balance.
Crittenden, the quarterback, is laid back, not a real rah-rah vocal guy. He leads by example. He looks unfazed by the moment. On a stretch play, Evans' first down run, and the drive continues to march for Samford. A gain of 13 and a first down.
I want you to write the right side right here. The right tackle is Webb Davis. He does a nice job on this pull right here. And you see this big hole that Evans runs through. He kicks the defensive end up the field. They get an explosive run because the defensive end goes up the field, opens up that B gap.
Crittenden whistles it wide open. Ward, real estate for the freshman. Knifing his way down to the 13-yard line. 29 yards through the air, the first explosive play we see from Samford in this first frame.
And the calmness of Quincy Crittenden. Some pressure off his left side. Watch how he pump fakes, then gets his eyes back down the field and finds his receiver, Torrey Ward, in the middle of the field for an explosive run and catch. I love the poise that Quincy Crittenden is playing with in this game so far.
And this will be the 10th play of this drive. First and 10 from the 12. Misdirection. The running back,
Double
Evans,
pass.
Throwing it. It's a lollipop. Ward catches. Touchdown, Samford. It took forever for that ball to land in the breadbasket of the receiver. It's a 12-yard score.
This is all eye candy, and I love this play design by Chris Hatcher, the head coach, who is also the play caller, right? You're going to see this. They're going to fake the run. They're going to throw this fake screen. And then the receiver, number 18, Torrey Ward, does a great job selling it, faking the block on the screen and then going back. You talked about it, James. Lollipop ball. That ball was in the air forever. He had to go up there and catch it like a punt. Nice job high pointing that that football by number 18, Torrey Ward, and getting into the end zone.
An impressive drive, 10 plays, 80 yards, right at 4 minutes off the stadium clock, and it's a touchdown difference. Baylor leads Samford 14-7. Just over a minute to play here in the first quarter. What a response.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at this play real quick. Right here, you're going to get the fake run right here. This receiver is going to come out. Quincy Critton is going to throw it to him, and then you get the fake screen and go. What a play design by Chris Hatcher, right? You fake the zone, then you throw out the fake screen. He fakes like he's blocking, then comes out. And again, lollipop ball. So that's one of those hard catches, right, James? Because you got to work your way back to the football. He high points it. It comes into the end zone for a touchdown. What a response by this Bulldog team.
That touchdown, the first quarter points for Samford this season through 9 quarters of football. A shot in the arm for the FCS underdog. Short pooch ensuing kick fielded around the 25. Oh, no. Still on his feet. And we have an injured player around the 30-yard line. 7 yards on the return for Kyler Beatty. But an injured Samford player. And it just sucked the life out of this stadium.
And I believe that's Donovan Grayson, their starting edge defender. He plays the dog position. That was a heck of a collision on the field, just hoping that he's all right, because you saw everybody from the Baylor side start waving everybody in the medical staff over from the Samford side. So just praying that this kid's all right.
There's his bio blast from Stafford, Virginia, transfer from West Virginia. Went to Brook Point High School. Redshirted at West Virginia in 2023, saw limited action last year. Has a track and field background and earned that starting edge position job for this Samford defense, which is completely new this season.
Yeah, talking to defensive coordinator Scott Sloan, he said he's one of their better players on defense. Does a really good job setting the physical edge, has some pass rush ability as well. Again, just praying that he's all right, because that was a heck of a collision on the field.
And the Samford coaches told us, if this game is out of hand by halftime, we sit everybody in the second half. We want to get some younger, some newer guys on the field, get them some live game reps. Right now, this game is very much not out of hand.
Yeah, and you see it. We saw Jumbo Gaskins on special teams. Donovan Grayson's the starter, and he's up. So that's always a great sign, and he's trying to jog over to the sideline. Like the staff is trying to slow him down.
And he just went back down. This kid is tough as nails.
Yeah, as a competitor, James, you always want to go off on the field on your own. Right there, he just needs to walk off, let the medical staff help him off the field. It was great to see him get up and have the energy that he had, but just have him take his time getting off the field right there. And again, just glad to see him back up on his feet again.
You were one of the best to ever play on the defensive line at UCF. You spent 10 years in the NFL. When you got beat up times like this, I mean, what's going through your mind? All eyes on you. You've stopped the flow of the game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that's like for a player.
So I was blessed where that never happened to me in college, but it happened to me in the NFL, and I was actually making a sack on the first third down of the game, and I felt something pull in my shoulder, and come to find out I tore my pec, but at the time I didn't know, right? And at the moment you're just like, what is going on? I know something's not right. And honestly, I also didn't want my teammates and my family to freak out, so I was like, let me get up. Matter of fact, Jason McCourty was my teammate. He was like, come on, dudes, let's get to the sideline. So, like, he helped me to the sideline. Again, we're just glad that we see Donovan Grayson walking off on his own accord, on his own power. It's good to see him up, walking to the sideline.
And this looks like the better move. Have the trainers help him, an army of people, to get him into the tent where they will further evaluate. Back to the action. 1st and 10. Baylor from around its 30-yard line. Play action. Robertson has been efficient. He checks it down to the Alabama transfer, Kobe Prentice. That's a loss of a couple. There's the hit on Donovan Grayson that knocked him out.
Crazy collision on kickoff. And again, he thought he was good. He decides to run off. And it seems like he just loses his balance a little bit right there. But going back to that last play, I mean, this Bulldog defense, James, is playing well. They're tackling in the space well.
One-on-one throw, Robertson misfires, intended for Lewis Brown, the transfer from San Diego State, who they are trying to get more involved in this offense.
I will say this, right? Zalik Yancey, number 2. Number 3, Niall Perkins. In man coverage, they've been tight. Right there is a deep comeback. Number 3, Niall Perkins does a really good job playing inside leverage and getting after the football and dislodging that to make sure the receiver doesn't catch it.
And Perkins is an All-American corner at the FCS level, transferred from Fordham. Twist up front, Robertson bouncing in the pocket, zips it, it is intercepted. And on the run, Samford angling out of bounds. LaShawn Young with the INT, and for Robertson, that is his first interception thrown on the season, 17-yard return.
And he didn't see him. They mugged at the line of scrimmage and dropped out in cover 3. 3 deep, 4 underneath. Watch in the middle of your screen, number 9. He's playing with vision to Sire Robertson. Watch how he just breaks in front of this and comes up with a big interception. James, he almost had an acrobatic interception last week versus Citadel. This time, he makes sure he comes down with a big turnover for this Bulldogs defense.
1st and 10 at the 24-yard line, just outside the red zone. This is the red area for the Bulldogs. Blitz threatening off the edge. They run it, and Evans sneaks his way ahead. Forward progress just a yard. Kendrick Simpkins bottles him up.
Head coach David Randall likes to send that slot corner pressure. And if you're Quincy Crittenden, right there, pull the ball because nobody was on the edge. That was a simple zone replay. If he pulls that ball, he has a chance to get an explosive run.
This is the end of the first quarter.
After one, Baylor 14, Samford 7. Samford still in it. 1 quarter in the books.
I would assume that Baylor felt like they let Auburn get away with one.
Hey, let it fly, man. Let it go. Don't hold nothing. You understand that? Let's go, man. Nobody don't think we're going to win except us anyway. So let it go. It's all the pressure on them. Walk in their trap. Take over their trap. Do everybody understand that? 30 seconds.
There's no one key to game day victory. You need strength, power, agility, and a team. Kick off the season with big savings during the Toyota Trucks Game Day sales event. Toyota Tundra, built in Texas, driven everywhere. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, grab me one too.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
This field belongs to the ones who take it. This season doesn't come with the script. This is where everything is earned, and we mean everything. We don't do handouts here. You want the spotlight? Earn it. You want to shine different? Prove it. 30 years strong, and we keep shining brighter. This is Big 12 football. This is a different league.
Coach, a trick play there to make this a one-score ball game. What were you seeing out of Baylor's defense that made you call that play?
Well, they're blitzing a lot, and it was just a play we knew when we got down there close we were going to run. The biggest thing is we talked about weather in the early storm, and it didn't look like it, but our guys keep fighting, and now we found ourselves in the orange zone area there with a chance to tie the game, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of fighting, a huge interception right there from Young. How much spark does that give your team?
Well, it gives us a lot, especially the way the game started, and we have a resilient group, a very close group, and we can punch this one in, anything can happen.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
James.
2nd down and 8 at the Baylor 23 after an interception from the Samford defense. Slicing through the defense. Evans, he is a back, and he's down around the 10-yard line, a gain of 14 on the quick hitter.
And just missed tackles by the Baylor defense. Again, nice play design, right? You have the offensive line blocking left, then you run a running back flare screen to the right. Nice job blocking on the outside by the receivers, but C.J. Evans made 2 or 3 Baylor Bears defenders miss right there. That was a great individual effort.
Now, the red zone has been a problem for Samford. They've converted just 5 of their 9 trips so far this season. 1st and goal at the 10. Pressure off the edge, and Crittenton is buried. Swallowed up back at the 17. It's a Baylor sack. Imarion Winston, the Oregon transfer, his 2nd sack of the year.
Yeah, number 8, Caden Jenkins. He was the one that made initial contact. You're going to see him blitzing from the left. The boundary corner blitz. He makes Crittenden step up, and then the rest of the Baylor Bears come to get that sack.
2nd down and goal from the 17. Crucial drive for Samford, and they're without their starting kicker today. Snap throw, setting up the screen off the edge. Ball popped out. Baylor has it.
The ruling on the field is an interception. 1st down, Baylor.
Samford is now -6 in turnover margin this season. It has been a huge Achilles heel.
Yeah, number 33, you see him defeat the block, DJ Coleman. He's their physical nickel. He essentially becomes like a Sam backer in his defense when they go 11 personnel, the offense, 1 back, 1 receiver. Watch how he gets that helmet on the football. Right there, Jaden Gibson couldn't hold on to it. Ball pops in the air. Kylan Reed does a really good job. We always say, stack monsters. Get out of the stack and run to the football. Does a nice job catching that fumble in the air for the interception.
Ball popped out like a jack-in-the-box and was recovered by Kylan Reed. Baylor leading by a touchdown. Washington is in at tailback. We saw him go into the tent 2 drives ago. He was on the sideline riding the bike. He's back out on the field, and he picks up 4.
Yeah, and he's kind of gimpy too, right? That was a nice tackle by the safety. Jalen Nelson comes downhill and saws him down. Bryson's a little gimpy right now.
That is dropped by Hawkins. Baylor looks a little clunky offensively, and this is the opposite of complimentary football. You just get the pick, and now it's 3rd and 6.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? Their corners have played really well in man coverage. Their defensive line really hasn't been able to affect Sawyer Robinson, but they've been tight in zone coverage with their linebackers and safety as well. So making sure those windows are tight. And that interception, he didn't even see the safety, right? He didn't look off LaShawn Young, and he gets the interception on the last drive.
Robinson, a passing down, checks it down to Washington, who has space and the 1st down. Keyshawn Washington makes the tackle. It goes for 10.
Love the pictures right here. Watch his eyes. Works left to right, see some pressure. Let me get to my check down. Nice job by Bryson Washington being available for his quarterback to pick up that 1st down.
And here's the tempo, and Washington is twisted down immediately by Carson Sloan, who introduces himself to the all-league running back.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Scott Sloan decides to bring his linebacker off the edge. He runs the running back down from behind. Look, they slant the defensive line. Sloan gets downhill, gets a big tackle for loss.
Washington does not look 100%. He comes to the sideline, checks out. Caden Knighton the true freshman from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, enters for Baylor. So they go to the air, and they find their tight end, Michael Trigg, who gets undercut after a gain of 11 to move the sticks.
I love that by Coach Spavital. What he does right there is he motions Cole Wilson, which makes their linebacker, number 30, Carson Sloan, go out with him. He finds Trigg right behind that void that Carson Sloan leaves.
And now LaShawn Young is down for Samford. He had the interception on Baylor's last offensive possession.
Yeah, that's a couple starters that have been dinged up on this Samford Bulldogs defense, right? LaShawn Young had the interception. We saw Donovan Grayson on kickoff get banged up as well. So right now, again, just hope that LaShawn Young is able to come back and be all right, because he's one of their better playmakers in the secondary. We saw the interception already this week. Last week almost had an acrobatic interception as well.
This is the second defensive starter who's been injured in this first half for Samford.
And he made the tackle and then grabs his shoulder right away, so you hope he's all right, because he put that shoulder pad right on Trigg's knee.
But Baylor also dealing with some injury issues of their own. Bryson Washington does not look 100%. He is checked out of the game. And remember, Baylor lost their backup running back, their other guy, Dawson Pendergrass, for the year right before the season started.
And they're thinking maybe Michael Turner could come back. He was banged up as well. So Kanan Knighton looks like he's going to get the fair workload of the carries right now as Bryson Washington is on the sideline.
1st and 10. Knighton straight up the middle, pushes the pile. A gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 upcoming for the Bears.
And Knighton's more of a home run threat, where Bryson Washington is perfect for their zone scheme. He's a long cut running back, one cut, get downhill. But with Kanan Knighton, he has that ability to take runs 50, 60 plus yards to the house.
Robertson pumping, surveying, checking it down, and then one-hopping it to Hawkins.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't trust it right there, James, right? He looks to the right. The defensive end does a really good job hitting the guy coming back across the formation. Seemed like he wanted to go to his tight end. The defensive end disrupts that. And then getting back to his left, he isn't able to set his feet and really drive that football. He has the arm talent and the velocity to make that. He just short hops that pass.
He is now 9 for 14 passing. 3rd down. Baylor's 1 for 3 on 3rd downs. Draw play up the middle. Knighton blasted after a gain of just 2.
And that run lets you know that they're going to go for it on 4th down. We talked about the aggression with Coach Spavital, and he said it's all analytic based. So I even asked him, I said, James, in some of these games, man, on your side of the 50, you're going for it. He was like, dudes, the analytics said go for it, so we went.
They went for it 6 times against SMU last week, went 3 for 6. This is 4th and about 5. Robertson uncorks it. Coming back, Cameron, his favorite wideout, rumbling down to the 35. Pitch and catch, and it moves the chains.
And what I love was that Josh Cameron came back to the football right there. So many times receivers will spot up and allow the DB to come and rake at the football. He has strong, aggressive hands. He works his way back to his quarterback to pick up that crucial 1st down on 4th down.
Robertson trying to find a rhythm, and he just can't in this first half. It's off the hands of Cole Wilson.
Yeah, that's a couple times trying to find Cole Wilson on out-breaking routes where he's just put it out too far in front of him. And it seems like the issue is throwing to his left, right? When he's throwing to his right, it's been fine. But throwing out to his left, that's a long throw, too, from the right hash to about the numbers.
Washington re-enters at tailback. 2nd down and 10. Bryson Washington up the gut, picks up 2 yards to the 33-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 7 for the Bears offense.
We haven't seen a lot of pressure from defensive coordinator Scott Sloan. I talked about it in the opening. At times, this Baylor offense, even though it's been explosive, has struggled against pressure. His corners have played really well, and man, let's see on this 3rd down, this defensive coordinator Scott Sloan, he's mugging a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. There's 6 guys at the line of scrimmage right now.
This
pressure.
should be 4-down territory, setting up the screen. Hawkins gets surrounded by 3 Samford defenders and didn't pick up anything. No gain on the play.
Yeah, it might look like they even maybe lost the yard. Surprised that Coach Aranda isn't potentially trying to take the 3 right here. But again, analytically based, says go for it, they go for it. But you saw right there, defensive coordinator Scott Sloan did bring some pressure on that third down. They threw a screen. They do a nice job rallying to the football and holding it to a small gain.
And this is 4th and long, 4th and 8. It would be a 49-yard field goal try. 4-man rush. Robertson floating it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Cole Wilson. Ball hit the turf, and it's a turnover on downs.
So they tried a double move right there, but number 9, it's good to see him back in the game, LaShawn Young. He doesn't fall for the slant and go.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Number 46, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow, that's a killer for the Samford defense. Andrew Jordan, who entered for Grayson, who got knocked out of the game on that special teams play. He's the guilty party.
You're going to see him down bottom of the screen right here. They're running a twist game, a text, tackle up, and end around. And right there, you see it on the center. He gets his hand and he extends it at the end. And that is a gut punch if you're the Samford defense, because you held him right there on 4th down. You're going to give the ball right back to your offense.
15-yard mark off. Washington probing, trying to get Skinny through the hole, pushing the pile. They have not blown it dead. A gain of 6 yards.
And James, when you watch the tape on Bryson Washington, you see that multiple times. You saw it last week versus SMU. You talked about it earlier, James. He didn't average over 4 yards a carry, but there's so many runs right there where you feel like he's bottled up and he gets an additional 2 or 3 just driving his legs.
He has 66 yards already on 8 carries in this first half. 2nd down. Robertson, snap throw off the edge and a freeway and a touchdown for Kobe Prentice.
And right there, number 3, I believe it is, Niall Perkins. He's the outside corner. He has to keep contained on that. He tries to defeat that block on the screen and go inside, and that allows Kobe Prentice, who all he does is catch touchdowns for this Baylor offense. You're going to see it up top, number 3, all the way at the top of your screen. As we play it down, he is the guy that has to stay outside. Watch how he tries to react and plays this inside, right? No, you're the contain. You have to stay outside and funnel that ball to the rest of the help inside. All your help is inside. He decides to shoot the gap, and because he goes inside, he loses contain. Kobe Prentice gets outside for a touchdown.
That was a long drive. 14 plays, 82 yards, 451. And Prentice has caught 9 passes all season, 4 of them touchdowns.
All he does is catch touchdowns. Kobe Prentice scores for the Baylor Bears.
Kobe Prentice was a big get for Baylor in the portal. The transfer from Alabama made the SEC all-freshman team back in 2022. Over 80 career receptions.
And James, we talked about it. All he does for this Baylor offense is catch touchdowns. He has 4 touchdowns on the year, James, but only 8 receptions. So if he gets the ball, there's a good chance he's getting into the end zone. We saw it in the intro, right? Game-tying touchdown last week. Had another touchdown versus Auburn to get them back in the game. He just finds his way. Some guys just have a nose for the end zone. Kobe Prentice is one of those guys.
And that was complimentary football from Baylor. After the fumble recovery, they take it 80-plus yards for a touchdown. After the kick, Baylor leads 21-7. We'll see Samford's offense after the break. Lige Duzable, James Westling, Madison Hawk, our crew here in Waco. 21-7 Baylor. It's 92 degrees, which is par for the course for mid-September in Texas. But Madison, I know it's way hotter down there on the field.
Absolutely, James. You and I both know that living in Texas, those fall temperatures don't come until late October. You mentioned it. It's about 92 degrees here today. But get this, down here on the turf, let me show you this. It is 145. I've seen it up to 151. It's funny because the police officer to my left saw it and said, no way, it's much hotter than that. It does feel really hot down here. Both coaching staffs told me they're just going to emphasize hydration with their guys. Everyone is crowded around the big fans. Something I am going to watch for, though, Baylor has had a problem in the past with cleats literally melting with how hot the turf can get. So I'll watch for that, guys.
We've seen a plethora of injuries already in this first half. Point of concern on both sides. 1st and 10, Samford, handoff. Evans roped down like a rodeo. Kendrick Simpkins making the tackle. It's a loss.
Yeah, Coach Aranda really loves this slot corner blitz. He's playing the nickel position right now. Kendrick Simpkins does a nice job coming off that edge. And I talked about it earlier, James. If you're Quincy Crittenden, sometimes with that slot corner blitzing and being aggressive as he is, pull that ball and get to the outside.
Negative play sets up 2nd down and 12. They continue to try and establish the ground game with Evans and Travion Barnes. Barnes, the nation's leading tackler a season ago at FIU, had almost 130 tackles. He makes the stop there.
Yeah, him and number 17, Tyler Turner. We call that a vice tackle. They both have a half of the ball carrier, and they meet up to get a big-time tackle. Because that hole looked big at first, but they closed that space really quickly.
3rd and 9. pressure up the middle. It's picked up. Crittenton buying time, floats it, and it's caught. Is he in bounds? Intercepted.
The ruling on the field is an interception. First down, Baylor.
What a play by LeVar Thornton, having a coming out party here today at home.
And we talked about this, right, where Quincy Crittenton, what has plagued him is bad decision making right there. Pressure's coming, he's drifting away, can't get enough on the ball, tries to throw it away. That's a nice job by LeVar Thornton. Almost becomes a receiver right there. Little toe drag swag. Shout out to my guy, Nate Burleson. He's able to get 2 feet in on that interception and get a big turnover for this Baylor Bears defense.
And we spent a lot of time talking about him with the coaches because he got burned a couple times against SMU, but they trust in this rangy 6'3" NFL prototypical corner.
They feel like he has the best skill set out there in corner, and they're going to continue to put him in those man scenarios. He'll be beat sometimes, but there'll be times where he makes plays like that.
Robertson keeps it on the fake. Gets to the 30-yard line for a gain of 4. Nelson the stopper.
Yeah, nice read right there on Sawyer Robinson on his own read. The end crashes down, he gets to the outside.
Baylor had 162 yards passing in the second quarter. That's where things really opened up for them a week ago against SMU. Today, just 50 yards through the air in this second frame. Robertson scanning, checks it down underneath. This is the freshman running back, Knighton, trying to get to the boundary. Stays in bounds. Clock continues to churn. He's down around the 15.
Yeah, I like the patience and poise right there from Sawyer Robinson. Looks to his left. Nice zone coverage drop by the Samford Bulldogs. Just check it down. Nobody's in space around your running back. Check it down. Simple check down goes for like 15, 20 yards there.
14 yards officially on the pickup. Quick throw, setting up the screen. Prentice gets shouldered down immediately. Hit by Nelson, his second tackle on this series.
I will tell you one thing, James. These defensive backs from Samford, they like to tackle, and they tackle well in space. That was a nice tackle in the alley right there by Jalen Nelson to hold that to a minimum gain.
Yancey, Wansley, Gaskins, Nelson, Perkins on the back end. On second down and 8. Knighton, patient run. The freshman with the balance, but he's giving up some ground, and he's tossed aside out of bounds at the 10.
James, loved the initial jump cut, but you talked about it, right? Then he started dancing too much. You're one-on-one on the island with a defensive back. Run at him. Right here, nice jump cut, but this is right here. He's trying to set up number 3. Now Perkins, but he does too much dancing. He said it. He ended up losing yards right there. This could have been 3rd and 2, but now you're looking at about 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 2 or 1.
Prentice in motion. Knighton again. He's twitchy, and he's close to the marker. Looks like just short. Sets up 4th and about a yard.
And you know they're going to go for this. This is what Coach Spavital does. What he's going to look at the analytic book. It says go for it. He's going to go for it. They're probably going to really lean on his offensive line. Try to get downhill with Caden Knighton to pick up this first down.
He was telling us about the algorithm that he uses. It fluctuates throughout the game based on flow of the game, based on down and distant and yard line. First down run, Knighton into the teeth of that Samford defense. Jaden Mosley drops him to the turf.
Get a motion in tight end Matthew Kloffenstein on this split zone. They zone to the right. And Caden Knighton just does a good job getting downhill to pick up that gritty 1 yard for the first down.
First and goal.
The previous play is under review to determine if the runner reached the line to gain.
And this might be a Samford challenge.
Be interesting.
So they'll take a look.
It seemed like he fell forward enough to get the first down from the initial view.
Baylor leads 21-7. Just under 5 to play here before the half.
Really good tackle, too.
He falls forward, but did a knee go down before that second effort?
And that's Jaden Mosley, the SoCon active leader in tacklers for this season. That's a nice physical tackle right there at the point of attack.
Do you see anything that would overturn this?
It would be hard, and you know the new language they use is upheld, and they can't determine if it's enough evidence to overturn it, right? From my view right there, it doesn't seem like there is enough video evidence to turn this over. Because I believe the marker was at the 5-yard line, if I'm not mistaken, and it seems like he fell forward right at the 5. Ooh, maybe a little short of the 5-yard line, James. All right, James, quickly, what do you think?
I don't think there's enough. I think it's upheld. You say the official language?
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It's first down, Baylor.
There it is.
It's a first down. That makes me 5 for 5, I think.
Have we had that many challenges that early in the year?
I don't think so. But I know I'm 1,000%.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough evidence to overturn that. It was closer, a lot closer when we got that close-up view in regards to Jaden Mosley tackling him and then Knighton's back shoulder hitting the ground, right? It was a lot closer than we initially thought. But again, not enough evidence to overturn it.
First and goal at the 5. Baylor still kind of looking for that backbreaker in this first half. Samford has fought here on the road. Fade, back corner, incomplete. Jaden Porter getting some snaps here in the first half.
Right here, one-on-one situation, RPO. He sees that his receiver's manned up. He decides to throw the jump ball right there. Number 21 does a really good job. Malik Thorin, right, staying chest to chest and batting that football away.
Washington re-enters at tailback. It was mostly Knighton on this series. Second and goal at the 5-yard line. Washington gets the call. Hit at the 5. Look at the strength. A minimum, boys. And a touchdown. One of the toughest, most hard-earned 5-yard runs you'll see all weekend.
And it's a nice play design. They go to the power play right here, but they motion number 85, Matthew Kloffenstein. He does a nice job, and the right guard does a nice job pulling as well. You're going to see the guard pull. You're going to see the tight end motion here, and Washington get downhill. But look, contact right there at the 3. Watch him turn the legs and continue to fight to get in the end zone. He was banged up. That's a nice physical run for a guy that has been coming in and out the game because he's clearly not 100%. If you're Dave Aranda, you lean to Bryson Washington and say, look, everybody, look how this guy continues to fight even though he's banged up.
Downhill, break tackle, platinum. Washington
gets in the end zone.
major point of emphasis this week here in Waco. Baylor has to get the ground game established. First half this season, 53 against Auburn, just 50 against SMU. Today, already close to the century mark.
And I love what I've seen from Bryson Washington, continuing to fight. Obviously, he's going through some type of ailment. But even then, checks back into the game. First contact at 3 yards, continues to turn the legs, fights, grittiness, gets into the end zone, has 2 explosive runs earlier in this game as well. Coach Spavato said he wanted to really run the football, and they've established a run today.
28-7, Baylor on top after the fair catch. Now, if you're Samford, what's the approach? 4:22 to play in the second quarter. You don't want to go 3 and out and give Baylor's offense another try.
And the thing is, James, they've been actually able to move the ball up and down the field. They got a big turnover in the red zone, but then turned it over right there on that last time they had the football. Quincy Crittenden makes an ill-advised throw, trying to throw it away, gets picked off. You want to be able to milk all this clock off and potentially score right before half, because let's not forget, Baylor gets the ball coming out at halftime.
Baylor has 14 points off of 2 Samford turnovers today. Receivers stacked towards the top of your screen. They run it with Evans. And Baylor has clamped down. They have really tightened the screws up front to limit this rushing attack from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, because C.J. Evans was having a lot of success earlier in this game, but they've done a nice job. And Coach Aranda has sent some pressure, right? That slot corner blitz, he continues to send that to try to mitigate this run game and also slant the defensive line.
That guy Simpkins, he's been all over the field in this first half.
Yeah, him and DJ Coleman, who play the same position as the nickel position, right? When teams go 11 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. I mean, 1 back, 1 tight end. They essentially become that third linebacker.
Second down and 8. Samford using all of that play clock, trying to get to halftime. Outside zone, Ken Cherry. A gain of 4, making it a manageable third down situation. Samford is 3 for 7 in this game on third.
And this is where you want to live, right? They motion the other back, run a zone read. And Simpkins, you're allowed to hit the quarterback on a zone read because he's a viable player to keep the ball and run. So you talked about it. Simpkins has been all over the place right there, introducing himself to Quincy Crittenden.
Just a little pop. Samford can take it inside of 3 minutes. Ball's on the turf. Crittenden twisting forward, and he gets slammed down. No gain on the play. 4th down and 4.
Yeah, the mesh point right there between the running back and quarterback got messed up. It was weird because it's like Quincy Crittenden initially caught the snap, but then the ball kind of just falls out of his hands, which messes up the timing of that quarterback power play. Nice job by the Baylor defense rallying and holding him to no gain there.
Samford doesn't have to punt here. They can take it down to the 2-minute timeout, but they will tee it up. Another bad punt. This is shanked out of bounds. Noah Jones is the Samford punter, and with 2 and change to play, Baylor's offense leading 28-7, set to take the field.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Well, Samford did not have to punt the football before the 2-minute timeout. They did. Baylor ran one play, picked up 9 yards on a quick hitter on a short little out pattern. Now it's 2nd down and 1. And that was the 2-minute timeout. And Baylor is at Samford's 39-yard line in plus territory.
Yeah, it's not really good situational clock awareness by Samford. You talked about it, James. They didn't have to punt it before the 2-minute timeout to get a shake punt, give Baylor really good field position.
Robertson dropping to throw. Uncorks it deep. Open. It's reeled in at the 2-yard line by Hawkins. 36 yards.
This is a nice job by the offensive line. He had all day to throw this. You have a stop route and a post route right behind it. Nice accurate throw by Sawyer Robinson right there to Hawkins.
Knighton goes leaping over a stack of dogs and gets close to cracking the plane. A gain of 2. Baylor knocking on the door. 90 seconds left before the half.
Yeah, and if I'm Coach Spavital, I know you want to play up-tempo, but I would take my time here, right? You get the ball coming out and have you get an opportunity for a 2-for-1. Why leave Samford with much time on the clock? And you see it right now, he's letting that clock really tick down.
Baylor's been really good this season in the middle 8. The last 4 of the second quarter and the first 4 of the third quarter. And that has been on display here again as Knighton burrows into the end zone for a Baylor touchdown. The freshman gets his 2nd touchdown of the season. Baylor leads 34-7.
That's a nice physical run by Caden Knighton because he's met in the middle of the hole by a linebacker, and he just continues to drive his feet. Simple split zone play, kind of like on the play he got on the first down a few plays ago. Does a nice job getting downhill and getting into the end zone.
4 plays, 48 yards, less than a minute off the timer. And Baylor has opened the floodgates. They lead 35-7. It was 14-7. In fact, Samford had outgained Baylor in the first quarter, but Baylor hitting on all cylinders now before the half.
Yeah, you see Kelsey Johnson, number 12, coming from right to left. He tops down that defensive end on the split zone. And then you see Knighton, again, just physical right there. Head up with the linebacker, gets into the end zone. Well, that's actually the safety, Trey Linehart. He runs through that tackle and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. But going back to your point, James, right? It's like 14-7 game. You get a fumble, right? Ball gets popped up in the air. Then Baylor goes down and scores, right? Then you get another turnover by the quarterback trying to throw the football away. Then Baylor goes down and scores. And then right before the 2-minute timeout, where you don't have to punt the ball, get a shake punt, short field for the Baylor offense. They go down and score right there. 21-point swing in this game.
Special teams, all Baylor today. They have blocked a punt. And then Samford's last 2 punts, 22 yards and then 17 on that last one.
Yeah, and that's what hurt them, right? There's 3 phases of the game. Nobody talks about special teams, but it is special, right? And it can really hurt you in regards to winning and losing the game. For the Samford Bulldogs, their special teams have really killed them today.
Another fair catch inside the 5 will bring it out. Just over a minute before the half, 35-7. Samford was in this game in the first quarter, but it has been the Bear Raid, full roar, closing minutes of this second session.
Yeah, if you're Dave Aranda, you have to love how your team responded because they dealt with some adversity where the Samford Bulldogs were making this game really interesting, but the defense has showed up really well, got a couple turnovers. The offense has paid dividends off of those turnovers, talking about complementary football. You talked about it on special teams. They played really well as well, too.
Baylor won their last 6 regular season games a season ago after they started 2-4. This year they dropped the opener against Auburn. Major bounce back win over SMU last Saturday. Nobody's played a tougher schedule 2 weeks into the season than this team here. Samford up the middle for a gain of 6. That's Kelly. Make it Evans, the running back, on that play.
Yeah, it seems like Samford is content to potentially go into half. It's a nice run by Evans. You would think after getting that positive yardage there, they'd maybe speed up to try to see if they can seal maybe 3 points right before half. But it looks like Coach Hatcher is comfortable potentially going into half with the score being what it is.
It's been Quincy Crittenton the entire way for Samford. They do really like their backup. True freshman Brady Stober from Hickory High in Hickory, North Carolina. It's not Hickory, Indiana. Evans grabbed by his shoulder pads and then body slammed to the turf. A gain of 3. That was Devontae Tesno.
And the coaching staff really likes Tesno. They said he would play potentially more depending on how healthy Jackie Marshall is. It's a nice physical tackle right there. It's almost like a WWE move right there, James.
Well, Baylor has scored 3 straight touchdowns on their last 3 possessions.
Of the second quarter.
Baylor did this twice against SMU, 3 consecutive scores, and they do it here once again in this game to get us to halftime, where Baylor takes a 35-7 lead into the locker room. Bears churned out 252 yards of total offense in the first half. It was 14-7 before Baylor scores 21 unanswered. Let's go downstairs. Madison Hawk is with Coach.
Coach, you told us this week the importance of playing complementary football. How have the 3 phases complemented each other in the first half?
I think there's signs of that. I think, we have to be more consistent. I think we can't let opportunities pass us by. The second half is going to be a real test for us, regardless of who's playing or who's getting the reps, regardless of the time left, regardless of the score. We have to play up to our standard, and we have to play to complement the other side. So big test.
Thanks, Coach. James.
Baylor coach Dave Aranda. Baylor scored 14 points off of 2 defensive takeaways, and they lead 35-7 here at the half. Second home game of the year, the first Saturday home contest here in Waco for this Baylor crowd.
Welcome to Inside the 12. Hope you're enjoying your game. He is Taylor McHarg. I'm Pete Souza. Time to take you, where else? Into that quarterback club where this guy should have been at the front of the line all season long. We're talking about Sawyer Robertson. He has done damage in these first 2 weeks, Taylor.
He's been fantastic, and in a spot against Auburn, trying to get his team in a comeback position, almost pulls it out against Auburn. last week against SMU. They're down 2 scores, 14 points in the fourth quarter, brings his team back for a huge win. He's thrown for almost 900 yards in the first 2 weeks, and he deserves to be in the Heisman conversation. We'll talk through a couple clips right here that I thought displayed his accuracy downfield, which to me is the best part of his game and most important. This one, an inside slot fade over the corner to Kobe Prentice, and he's matched up in man-to-man coverage. I loved how Sawyer Robertson looks off the safety to his right, works back to his left, and again drops this in the bucket over the shoulder of Kobe Prentice in that slot corner in coverage. This throw, you could go out there and throw this 100 times. You're not going to throw a better route than this. The second look that we'll get, also another touchdown throw to Kobe Prentice. This is the one that tied the game. Zone coverage, running sort of that beater route into the middle of the field. And this is the perfect spot and timing to throw this football. You see it open up in the middle of the field like he's throwing it at the M on the SMU logo, right off of that referee's ear. If you throw that too early or late, it's probably an interception. If it's too high, it's going to be tipped or another interception. Instead, it's a perfect throw. And for Sawyer Robertson, 7 touchdowns on the season, 0 interceptions. And his downfield accuracy is as good as it gets in this sport. Say it one more time. He deserves to be in the Heisman conversation right now, the quarterback for Baylor.
And again, I've said it before. He played, like you mentioned, 2 really tough opponents. And while quarterbacks around the country were playing, okay, maybe a solid opponent, but then an FCS opponent. We're taking his Heisman campaign out of the garage right now. I'm revving up the car. I've spoken about Sawyer. I've had a chance to speak with him a bunch of times. God-fearing guy. Faith is a huge part of it. Holy Heisman. That's it. That's it right there. Holy Heisman. I mean, and some of those numbers, you said it yourself. 3 consecutive games throwing for more than 400 yards. Patrick Mahomes, the last guy to do that.
If that's your company doing anything in your Big 12 play, you're in good company. Look forward to seeing him in this weekend against Samford. Next weekend, huge spot as they get a chance to open up conference play against Arizona State. We'll see as it moves forward, but again, he deserves to be in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah, Baylor's defense going to have to shore it up a little bit there, giving up about 440 yards a game. We can only hope, or Baylor fans can only hope, that Dave Aranda is working on that. That's all the time we have. We'll send you back to your game or the rest of halftime. But for Taylor McHargue, the signal caller, I'm Pete Souza. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And make sure you watch Inside the 12 during the week. You can catch it on True TV, HBO Max, all your Big 12 markets, and the Big 12's YouTube channel.
What's the message on your strip there? What is that message for?
It says, long live Bambino. My brother, he passed a couple weeks ago. That's his nickname. We call him Bam. So I just put this across just as a reminder. He really wanted to come to this game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I feel like he was watching. You know, it was kind of like a reminder for me, just because, like, he always comes to my game, like every game. If he doesn't have work, he's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And I remember him calling me like, man, put me on the list for the tickets. Like, he was like the first person to ask. I think we were still in like fall camp or something like that. I'm like, I don't even know how to put the tickets in yet. He's like, man, just make sure you put me on the tickets. I'm gonna be there. So I feel like that was like just like a little reminder for me, you know. Every time I like look in the mirror or something like that, I just reminds me to go hard every time. 'Cause he's like my biggest fan.
Baylor up big here at the half at home. AP top 10 week 3. Only one team on a bye, and that would be Florida State. Plenty of great matchups across the college football landscape. Miami, South Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Notre Dame, and Texas A&M tonight, 7:30 Eastern, with 10-year NFL vet, Lige Douzable. I'm James Westling. We've got Madison Hawk, the third member of our team. All right, let's talk college football. It's a big Saturday. Georgia and Tennessee. Can Tennessee finally get over the hump?
It's been 8 straight for the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Tennessee Vols. And when you look at it, this will be a big test for Gunnar Stockton going on the road into a hostile environment. But I think the production of Joey Aguilar, the quarterback, and then also the experience of him may give the Vols an early edge in this game. I think the streak ends. I think the Vols get it done.
Okay. Okay, bold prediction right here.
Yeah, no question.
All right, now the new face of college football might be Arch Manning. He's doing Warby Parker commercials. It's a whole thing. He is a rock star.
Yeah, he is.
How would you evaluate what he's done so far at Texas?
Obviously, first start versus Ohio State really struggled, but I love how he bounced back versus San Jose State. We're going to go into some highlights right here. Throwing in timing and rhythm, RPO, putting that where only the receiver can catch the ball. Now, this is where you want to get this out of his game. Backpedaling, you can't throw up your back foot, especially in the red zone. Costly turnover right there, but it's all about how you handle adversity. How do you bounce back? Another dot. Helmet or higher in the red zone, that's what they teach you. And right here, the mobility. This is a facet of his game that I really like. His uncles didn't have this in their bag. Look how he makes a few defenders miss and finds pay dirt and gets to the end zone.
5 combined touchdowns, 4 through the air, 1 on the ground last week against San Jose State. Threw for almost 300 for 63% completion percentage. When it comes to the other games in college football, any of those top dogs on upset watch on this college football Saturday?
A game that's being played right is our game is getting called right now. The Georgia Tech Clemson game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Georgia Tech is up 13-7. Clemson gets a big touchdown right before half. I think Georgia Tech ends up winning that game. Brett Key, I believe, is 13-2 when leading at halftime. And then that next game, the darlings of college football, and it's hard for me to say that being a UCF grad. South Florida Bulls versus Miami. That's another big game. And then the game tonight, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. Last year this game was played at A&M. This time it's played in Notre Dame. I like C.J. Carr to have a real big game for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at quarterback.
We're at the half. Coming up next, the first half stats and the third quarter kickoff. Baylor up big here at the break.
3 receivers left, 1 to the right side. Single coverage up top. Right side, it is caught by Josh Cameron at the 10. He sidesteps a man and he's into the end zone.
Whenever I get in these moments, I don't even know what possesses me or what happens, but I don't remember staring the dude down. But I watched the replay. I was like, well, that was pretty cool. And then the dance, I practiced that beforehand quite a bit, so that was planned for sure.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge?
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
There's no one key to game day victory. You need strength, power, agility, and a team. Kick off the season with big savings during the Toyota Trucks Game Day sales event. Toyota Tundra, built in Texas, driven everywhere. Toyota, let's go places.
are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
Wildly entertaining and unpredictable Big 12 has a champion to crown, and AT&T Stadium is where we're going to decide it.
Into the corner, touchdown.
Baylor set to receive to start this second half with Cole Wilson back deep. Jake Gardner, the kickoff specialist. Short powder kick fielded by a Bear around the 30-yard line. And that is Beatty out to the 44. A gain of 13 as we check in with Madison downstairs.
I just asked Samford head coach Chris Hatcher what the biggest shift was for his team from the first quarter to the second quarter, and he told me really it's the same thing that's haunted us all season, the costly turnovers. He said if you look back at the end of the first quarter, we had so much momentum, and then we turned the ball over. He said defensively they have to play smarter. He said they might get outmanned, but he's challenging them to just play a clean game and also not have too many costly penalties.
And that's been their bugaboo all season. They had over 450 yards last week against the Citadel, but turned it over 5 times in that game. Robertson back to pass. The starters are still in, at least for this first series, to start the second half as they complete it to Josh Cameron. A look at the first half stats. 252 to 127 total yardage. The turnovers, though, 2 for Samford.
Yeah, 14 points off of those turnovers. And then if you count the shank punt, right, that essentially was a turnover because they put Baylor in plus territory. They scored on that short field as well. So that's 21 points just off of 3 plays by the Samford offense and special teams.
Bryson Washington having himself a nice day. That's his 11th carry. He's over 80 yards for the ball game. And it sets up a 3rd down and 2 short yardage for the Bears offense.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Hatcher, right, you want to see your team just continue to fight. They fought in that first half, lost momentum with the turnovers. But like you said, we might be outmanned, but I want to see us go out here, continue to fight, compete, and just play a clean half.
Robertson retreating, and he is sacked back at the 41. Jaden Mosley. The pressure came from Woodward up the middle.
And when you look at this play, heavy play action pass, there's only one route going down the field, and that's Josh Cameron. Everything was short of the sticks. Nice job in zone coverage by the Bulldogs, passing everything off, and then the rush just continued to hunt and get after the quarterback. So Coach Hatcher wanted his team to come out and fight. You got to love that they came out here and got a 3-and-out on their first possession.
Palmer Williams on to punt. He had a 59-yard blast in the first quarter, which was a season's best. Tries to angle this one towards the numbers, and it takes a Baylor hop. Still rolling. They will down it around the 7-yard line. A long field for the Samford offense.
Pulled out that pitching wedge right there, James. Saw that thing rolled about an extra 10 yards right before the 5-yard line. So nice finesse punt right there.
Baylor had the best punting average in the country last year with Williams at the helm. That was 52 yards. Georgia and Tennessee at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC, the Backyard Brawl. That'll be over on ESPN. And then at 4 Eastern, a sneaky game for Iowa State at Arkansas State. New quarterback in for Samford. They give the keys to the offense to this freshman who they really like, Brady Stober. He was a star in football and baseball at Hickory High School in Hickory, North Carolina.
Talked about it, James. Very excited about him. And right there, you see it. He has the ability to get on the edge, a little bit more physically imposing than Quincy Crittenden as well. But they said this kid can really spin it. He can sit in the pocket. Enrolled early in the spring, so he's a kid that wanted to come in, learn the offense, and compete for that starting job.
Hands it off on the zone read to Cherry. He's close to the first down marker. A look at the freshman. Samford's longest play from scrimmage this season belongs to Stober. It was a 34-yard run by the backup quarterback. Empty backfield. Here's the quarterback draw, and you see his burst as he picks up the first down and gives Samford some breathing room out beyond the 20.
And you see the explosive ability, right, James? No fair dodging, split zone. Got the tight end coming back across blocking. He gets downhill. Nice job by the offensive line. He's going to get downhill in a hurry. That's his game.
Rolling to his right, scanning, searching for somebody open, and wisely chucks it out of bounds to play another down. It's 2nd and 10.
And James, that might not seem like a good play, but that's a win right there, right? Nobody's open down the field. Don't put it in harm's way. Don't continue to burp the baby and hold the football. He rolls out to the right. Nothing is there. Just throws the ball away and lives to play another down.
2nd down and 10. Handoff up the gut. Cam Bland getting some carries. The true freshman picks up 2. We touched on this at the top, but Samford, 44 players on their 2 deep as starters and backups, and only 7 coming into the season had played any meaningful collegiate snaps. They are young. They had a bunch of turnover, mostly due to graduation versus the portal. Blitz. The Frosh hums it low and incomplete. Wanted Preston Bird. Simpkins on the coverage. And it's 4th down and 9.
Yeah, 3rd and 8. Kendrick Simpkins does a really good job having his heels at the first down marker. As soon as they come back, he breaks on the ball downhill, does a nice job making sure the receiver can't get there. But Stober short hopped the ball anyway. Nice job by this Baylor defense responding and getting off the field.
And this is not a normal roster breakdown. This is one of the youngest teams with 54 freshmen, 21 sophomores in all of FCS. Baylor blocked a punt earlier in the contest. This is much better, this time from Jones. Cameron losing his balance, stays on his feet, and gets twisted down back at the 24. 51-yard punt. We head to a timeout. Baylor on top, 35-7. Baylor up big. Hey, the all-new ESPN app is here. And for the best experience, all you need to do is follow these 3 simple steps.
First, you'll need the ESPN app on your connected TV or favorite device. If you have it, open it up. If you don't, download it now. Next, click on the live event or ESPN show you want to watch. Then choose your TV provider and log in. You're all set. It's all of ESPN, all in one place. Go to support.espn.com to learn more.
The new ESPN app. Baylor on top 35-7. He's Ligier Duzable. I'm James Westling. Madison Hawk downstairs. Baylor's offense back to work. Robertson all day. Can't find anybody open. Lewis Brown, the intended target. It's incomplete. The Samford secondary has held their own. Big 12 Week 3 key matchups. How good did Houston look last night? 36-20, blasting Colorado at home.
Connor Wegman, man, using his mobility, getting into the end zone a few times. Really love what I saw from Dean Connors, the running back as well. It'll be interesting to watch Houston because they had some injuries on the offensive line, but like you said, they looked really good last night.
Arizona beat Kansas State in the last non-conference matchup. It does not count against their league marks. 23-17. An overthrow by Robertson sets up 3rd down and 10. He wanted Wilson down the seam.
And you can tell that this Bears starting offense is still in because they're trying to get that passing rhythm together. It's been a little bit off right there. He sails it down the seam to Lewis Brown, who was wide open. Ball just sailed on him.
3rd and 10. Baylor's only 1 for 7 on 3rd downs. Robertson surveying the landscape. He hits Knighton, and Knighton gets belted. Hit at the ribs by Carson Sloan. A gain of just 4, maybe 5.
This Bulldogs defense has done a really good job on 3rd and long, keeping their feet and their heels at the 1st down marker. This is another vice tackle. Nice job by Carson Steele getting downhill, and also Kelton Chris as a vice tackle. One guy has one half of the other guy, and they make a physical tackle to get their defense off the field on 3rd down.
This is the 3rd punt of the day for Baylor. Palmer Williams, his first 2 over 50 yards on both. Jaden Gibson back deep. Williams lets it rip. Right down the middle. Fair caught at the 20-yard line. Baylor on top 35-7, 3rd consecutive 50-yard punt from Williams. Baylor was the #1 net punting average team in the country last year in special teams. That's a very undervalued aspect of what they do. Complementary football was the theme this week for Baylor. There had been flashes, but doing it in all 3 phases after takeaways, scoring on the ensuing possession.
Yeah, Coach Aranda spoke to Madison about that going into half. He said, we've seen spurts of complementary football, but we haven't seen it in its entirety. And right now, the offense is stalled out. 2 drives, 2 3-and-outs.
Stober, the true freshman, has entered the game at quarterback for Samford, breaking tackles and pinballing upfield. Gibson gets beyond the 30. They mark him down at the 32, a gain of a dozen.
And this is a nice job by Jaden Gibson. Contact balance. He gets hit right here initially, able to bounce back. Good blocking on the outside by his receiver. Picks up a 1st down on a receiver screen.
Stober pumping, wings it, nearly intercepted on the carom. DJ Coleman was in the neighborhood, touched him last, but Thornton was on the coverage.
Yeah, they tried to go screen and go, right? He's trying to fake like he's going to the screen. And then Preston Bird, they try to find him down the field, but Stober drives that. You got to float that. The only thing is there was a safety over the top, so he should have just aborted that play and threw it away.
2nd down and 10. Dancing in the pocket, escaping. Stober picks up a solid chunk. He's a nifty runner. Tyler Turner on the tackle.
Yeah, very decisive runner, not a lot of dancing. He does a good job. Trying to find something down the field, doesn't like it. We talked about it, James. He scrambles, gets about 7 yards, keeps it 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 3, Samford today, 4 for 10 on 3rd downs. Rollout, nearly picked. Turner in the neighborhood, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Tyler Taylor jumps down in zone coverage, and I don't even think Stober saw him, right? Just goes off his fingertips. He was trying to get Preston Bird on that sprint out to the right. Nice coverage by the Baylor Bears defense, and Turner almost comes away with an interception.
Jones on to punt. He's been inconsistent today. He shanked 2, but then he had a 50-yarder. He also had one blocked way back in the first quarter. Cameron back to return. This is right down the middle. Cameron signals for a fair catch, drifting back inside of his own 15. 5th time that Jones has pinned a punt inside the 20 this season. Baylor on top. We'll see the offense after this.
On his shoulders now to win this game. And it's no good. We will go to overtime. Up the middle. He falls in the end zone. The Bears strike first in overtime. Right away, throw to the end zone. Touchdown. And we go to overtime too. 27 yards to upset the Mustangs. It's good. Hawkins wins it for the Bears.
What a game a week ago for this Baylor team, going on the road in their house, taking down a team that just went to the college football playoff in comeback fashion. That's a win that can really spark a team for an entire season.
Yeah, talk about how they handled adversity, right? The fortitude of this team. We talked to Coach Aranda about that, and he said he leaned on the players, right? Their veteran leadership on this team was mainly the reason why he felt comfortable why his team could come back in that game.
Washington gets stacked up, no gain. Cunningham and Sloan on the tackle. A recap of that win a week ago. Robertson 440, 4 touchdowns. Hawkins hit the game winner in double overtime. The win streak is at 14 for Baylor over SMU. The Baylor offense has stalled a bit here in the second half. Just 4 net yards on their first 2 possessions of this third quarter. Pressure off the edge. Robertson feels the heat. Dances outside the pocket. He's an underrated runner. It's a first down carry. Missed tackle by Gaskins in the backfield, and that's good for 15 yards.
The defensive coordinator, Scott Stone, hasn't seen a lot of pressure, but this was the perfect pressure. You're going to see in the slot to the top of your screen at the right, number 27, Jumbo Gaskins. He comes through unblocked. Now, Bryson Watson just gets a little piece of him. That's a nice job by Sawyer Robinson, feeling that pressure, getting outside and picking up a first down with his legs.
Washington spinning forward. A gain of 5 yards. Nelson the stopper. 2nd down and 5, a player down for Samford. And it's Corey Warren, interior defensive lineman, transferred in from Georgia State.
We talked about it, James. There's been a few defensive starters that have been banged up for this Bulldogs defense, right? We saw LaShawn Young banged up, but he came back into the game. Donovan Grayson got banged up a little bit earlier, and now Corey Warren. So you have to worry about the depth of this defense, right? And they've been on the field a lot because their offense hasn't been able to sustain drives. But they played really well, more specifically in the second half, James. You talked about it, right? Before that Sawyer Robertson scramble, 4 net yards in 2 possessions. So hope that Warren's all right because, again, their depth is getting tested right now.
And Baylor still has their starters on the field. They were talking about some of their stars maybe only playing 1 series in the second half, but this is their 3rd, and they are still all out there. And I think that's because they haven't been able to get something going.
Yeah, they haven't been able to throw the ball down the field, which is synonymous with this offense. And their coach Aranda coming out at half, talking to our Madison and saying that the standard, we haven't played up to it yet, right? Complimentary football, there's been spurts of it, but it hasn't been consistent enough. And we saw it on the first 2 drives. The offense wasn't able to get a drive going. Let's see if that scramble by Sawyer Robinson kind of lights a fire in this offense.
Take a look here at the right-hand side of your screen to see if you can see big number 44.
Seems like he can barely put any weight on his left foot as he gets help off the field. Didn't really see much there, James, but you see how gingerly he's walking.
Robertson just picked up a chunk of yards 2 plays ago with his legs that went for 15. He has only 1 pass today, more than 20 yards. So only 1 explosive pass play for the Bears in this one. In their first down success, they're averaging 4.3 yards on their first down plays, which is a major point of emphasis for this tempo offense. Washington shot out of a cannon for a first down. Rumbles to the 45, a solid chunk of 12.
And they love the split zone play again. Number 12, Kelsey Johnson comes from the right to the left. Zone play. They zone block right. Big hole in the A-gap for Bryson Washington.
Washington plotting to venture into Samford territory. Weber and Nelson on the tackle. A gain of 6 yards, and Washington is now over the century mark, over 100 yards in this contest on that carry.
Coach Spavs talked about really getting that run game going. They felt like he ran the ball extremely hard versus SMU, but they wanted a bigger average, and he's been able to do that today.
2nd down and 4, 6.5 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. Washington looking for an alley, and he has it. Another gain of 6, but Washington still getting the bulk of the carries in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I love that Coach Spavital is really leaning on this offensive line in the run game for Bryson Washington. You saw earlier in this half where they really tried to come out and establish the pass game, but it really wasn't in tune. So he's really leaning on the run game in the offensive line right now.
New set of downs for the Bears. Robertson dropping, zips it to the boundary, and it's in and out of the hands of Kelsey Johnson, a backup tight end.
And James, that was an absolute dot, right? That's a whole flat defender. You have a safety over the top. Sawyer Robinson just puts it over the outstretched hands of Trey Linhart. And if you're Kelsey Johnson, you got to come down with that catch for your quarterback. Like, he's been struggling. The receivers and quarterback have not been on the same page. That was a big-time throw by Sawyer Robinson.
This is the 8th play of this drive. 3rd series for Baylor in the second half. Still have the starters out there. Caleb Knighton wiggling ahead for a gain of 6. On 3rd down, they snap it quickly. Knighton runs into his own guy, tries to pinball loose. There is a flag out. He is crowded and brought down after a minimal gain.
I think there's going to be a hold on number 85, Matthew Klopfenstein.
Holding. Number 68, offense. 10-yard penalty, third down.
That's only the second Baylor penalty today.
Yeah. Abidion right there, he twists the defensive tackle. The defensive tackle does a nice job once he pulls around the corner, getting up under his pads. Gets a nice little tug at the top of that block, and the ref saw it and threw the flag.
Makes it 3rd and 13 for the Bears. Blitzer off the edge. Robertson misfires, intended for Josh Cameron. And it's 4th down.
And James, that's miscommunication again. Switch release. Josh Cameron decides to spot up in zone, and it looked like Sawyer Robinson wanted him to continue to run through that towards the middle of the field. So, talked about it earlier, the receivers and quarterbacks just don't seem like they're on the same page in this game.
Robertson has thrown for over 400 yards in his last 3 starts. In this game, he's at 163, not his normal line.
I believe he had 154 at half, right? So, what is that, 9 yards in this second half?
Short punt, and that'll be kick-catch interference on Baylor. A flag is out right at the point of the return, back at the 12-yard line after a 39-yard punt. Simpkins didn't give the return man enough space to reel it in on the fair catch.
Yeah, if you're Coach Aranda, you want to play a clean second half, but we haven't seen that, right? Miscommunication between the receivers, quarterback right there, a penalty.
Kick catch interference, number 93, kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down. Timeout on the field.
A 9-play drive for Baylor stalls. Tack on the penalty. We'll see Samford next.
The foul.
Welcome back to McLean Stadium, where Baylor leads Samford big. The coaching world is small, and Chris Hatcher reminded us of that this week. Back in 2000, he got his first head coaching job at Valdosta State. His first hire was defensive coordinator Will Muschamp. They had $8,000 left for a secondary coach, so Muschamp said, what about Kirby? As in, yeah, Kirby Smart. Had Hatcher gave him the job, plus a $1,000 bonus to run camps. He laughed, telling me, hey, I even gave him the title of director of camps. Kirby Smart ended up running Hatcher's defense, and they finished number 2 in the nation for Division II. Not bad for an $8,000 hire, guys. I guess we all got to start somewhere.
$8,000. How about that? Struck gold with Kirby Smart. The Chris Hatcher coaching tree has a lot of branches, and he's been at Samford 11 years, 26 years overall as a head coach. He was the coach at Valdosta State, where he won basically the Heisman of Division II. As a quarterback, he was a player there. And his true freshman quarterback here on the road takes a shot at the 30-yard line. A gain of just a yard, nobody open downfield, and it's 3rd and long. Two-time All-American quarterback, SoCon Coach of the Year in 22. That team won 11 games and got to the second round of the FCS playoffs. Their only 2 losses that year were to Kirby Smart's Georgia Bulldogs and to North Dakota State. The freshman Stober throws a pick. Caleb Burns has his first career INT as a Baylor Bear. A Baylor takeaway.
Yeah, Stober didn't even see him in zone coverage. You're going to see to the right of your screen. He just pops out, cuts this off on his out-breaking route. He was trying to find his receiver, Preston Bird, but that's a nice job by Caleb Burns, right, being in zone coverage and then keeping vision to the quarterback and breaking on that ball for a big interception.
That's the 3rd takeaway by this Baylor defense today. 35-7, Baylor on top. They bring in Joseph Dodds at tailback. And that's been the story of the season for Samford. 3 turnovers in their first game, then 5 last week, and 3 more today. Dodds with fresh legs, churning to pick up 4 yards. Mosley the stopper.
Yeah, talking to the coaching staff, they said they wanted to get Joseph Dodds some burns, right? They said they want to get Bryson in, get him lathered up a little bit, get him out of the game, get Caden Knighton going, and also Joseph Dodds.
Coaches felt like Baylor had a great week of practice. It was really physical, they told us. Play fake, Robertson to the sideline. It's intercepted. Gumbo Gaskins on the pick.
The ruling on the field is an interception. The Samford player was down at the 27-yard line prior to the ball coming loose.
And if you're Sawyer Robertson, you can't make that play. You see it right there, Gumbo Gaskins. He's a flat defender. They're in cover 2. There's a safety over the top. Somebody ran with the vertical route. Right there, you got to get to your check down if you're Sawyer Robertson. That's a hard throw. You're throwing from the left hash, James, all the way outside the numbers, and he didn't put enough air on the ball right there. Nice job. Gumbo Gaskins right there in zone coverage, getting a big interception for this Samford Bulldogs defense.
Second pick that Robertson has thrown today. Had none on the season coming in. And the freshman Stober goes to work, setting up the screen for Gibson. Slices his way ahead for a gain of 6 to bring it out to the 34-yard line.
If you're Coach Hatcher, head coach for the Samford Bulldogs, you have to love how your defense has come out this second half, right? They've done a really good job of mitigating this high potent Baylor offense, and they forced a turnover so far in the second half.
He pitches it out to the running back, and Ken Cherry has a first down out to the 42-yard line, a gain of 8.
A little misdirection play. They pull the left guard and tackle, but they also pitch it to the left, right? You just want to buy the eyes of the linebackers. Let your running back, Ken Cherry, out leverage the defense and pick up a first down.
5 different rushers today for Samford. Cherry picking his spots ahead for 2. Kyler Jordan, the stopper that time for the Bears defense. They have a lot of subs on the field defensively now. Robertson is still playing quarterback. We are in the late stages of this 3rd quarter. Nobody is yet to score here in this second half. 4-yard pickup by Cherry.
Yeah, you talked about it, James. The starting offense is still on the field, but the defense is starting to rotate some of these younger players. The defense has played really well for the Baylor Bears defense. Even though the offense is stalled out, they've been up to the task on defense in regards to not giving up anything at the start of this second half.
3rd and 4 for a Samford team that's 0 for 2 on third downs in this second half and 4 for 12 for the game. Stober trying to escape, and they track him down. Micah Gifford with the sack.
And James, that's the perfect word, tracking, because that's exactly what he did from his middle field safety position. He does a nice job on this ankle tackle, because it's just him and Stauber one-on-one on the outside. Look at him to the left of your screen. Watch how he tracks and is able to get the quarterback down to get his defense off the field on third down.
It's 4th and 9, and Samford will punt. Josh Cameron is back deep for the Bears to field this punt. High spinner. Cameron signals for a fair catch and brings it in around the 13. Less than a minute to play here in this third quarter. 44-yard punt. Nobody has scored here in this second half. These teams just punting the ball back and forth with a couple of turnovers sprinkled in.
Yeah, it's been a defensive battle this second half. James, we're a bit surprised. We thought Sawyer Robinson and the offense, the starting offense, would maybe be off the field, to begin the third quarter. But Coach Dave Aranda talked about it, right? We haven't played up to the standard. We haven't played complimentary football all the way through. There's been spurts of it, but we haven't been consistent. And it seems like they just want to get their quarterback in rhythm, because he has not been in rhythm with his receivers today.
And we touched on this earlier, but Baylor had no intentions of playing any of their starters in the third quarter. Washington is the tailback on this series. Underneath, Cameron. A gain of 10. That's his 4th grab. It's good enough for a first down to move the chains.
Nice rhythm throw. Just go to your big playmaker on the outside on the receiver screen, just to build some confidence in your quarterback after throwing an interception.
Up the middle comes Washington. Plows over left guard for a gain of 4. But Baylor has 322 yards of total offense. Yards per play, 5.5. And the offense has had some explosives, but really they've taken advantage of short fields. See if Baylor snaps it one more time before the end of the third, and they do, and it's Washington looking for a lane. Has a first down run.
This is the end of the third quarter.
That was his 18th carry of the game. He's well over 100 yards at $113 as we head to the fourth quarter coming up next. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. And one of the best teachers in all of college football is Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. He's a deep thinker, he's intelligent, and their team philosophy, ball, brotherhood, battle. Better people make better players and win with character. The Baylor way here in Waco. Robertson fires and another drop. Was that picked? They'll talk about it. And the ruling on the field is that...
The ruling on the field is an interception, first down Samford.
That Niall Perkins, off the hands of Kelsey Johnson, comes down with it, and it's another Baylor turnover.
Yeah, it's been tough for the young tight end. That's his second drop already in this third quarter. And the ball slightly gets tipped right there. That's a nice job by number 30, Carson Sloan. Looks like he may have tipped that pass just a little bit. But if you're Kelsey Johnson, again, you got to catch that.
The previous play is under review to determine if the Samford player possessed the ball prior to it hitting the ground.
And looking at this replay, James, it looks like Niall Perkins' hands are up underneath that football.
That will be close.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to see the other angle, but tips and overthrows, man, they change games. Right there, the ball goes off Kelsey Johnson's hands. Now Perkins is in zone coverage in the right place, and he tries to corral this ball. It'll be interesting because they called it an interception on the field. Is there enough evidence to overturn it?
Baylor's third quarter possessions, and this one here. Punt, punt, another punt, and then back-to-back interceptions.
It's been tough, right? Ill-advised throw by Sawyer Robinson on the other interception in the third quarter. That one was actually a really good pass that literally just goes off the hands of Kelsey Johnson. And again, it's dangerous when the ball gets tipped up in the air. So many things can happen right there. Niles Perkins is in zone coverage, and he tries to scoop that up before it hits the ground.
After review, the ball hit the ground prior to the Samford player gaining firm control. By rule, this is an incomplete pass. The ball will be returned to the previous spot. It's second down.
Baylor catches a break.
Yeah, so there was obviously enough evidence of the ball hitting the turf before Niall Perkins really secured the football. But this goes back to what Dave Aranda was talking about, right? Complementary football. He said, we asked him, Coach, what was the plan going into this game? And you talked about it, James. We wanted to get some younger players in. He actually said, at breakfast tomorrow, I want to see the look in everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
I want to see that hunger, that guys want to go out and play this game and go out there and compete. And they've really struggled on the offensive side to start this second half.
Sawyer Robertson is still in at quarterback. Hands it off to Washington, trying to tear through the second level. Picks up a chunk of 11 yards. He's up to 131 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, almost 7 yards per carry.
Yeah, Coach Spavital really wants to establish a run. He says, if we pop a run, then I'm going to run it again.
Trying to pop one to the outside, staying in bounds. Track speed from Prentice. 2 flags are out. Will this touchdown stand? If so, it's 56 yards. But there are markers all over the field.
Yeah, that's going to be on number 4, Lewis Brown. And honestly, he had his hands inside, but when the defender spun, he has to let go right there. He doesn't and gets a holding call on the screenplay.
Holding, number 4, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Baylor just has not been able to pop plays like this.
See right there, as Niall Perkins tries to spin off, you got to let go because now your hands are outside of the framework inside the body. And we talked about it earlier, right? For some reason, when Kobe Prentice touches the ball, he just finds his way to the end zone, but it gets negated by a holding call.
Baylor's averaging less than 9 yards per completion today. Now it's first down and 17. Robertson hits Brown coming back to the football, trying to redeem himself, and he picks up 15 yards on the reception.
It's a nice job by Lewis Brown working his way back to the quarterback. Again, a lot of times in zone coverage, you'll see receivers just spot up, but you need to work back downhill to help your quarterback out. He does a really good job and gets a positive gain on that first down play.
This was our halftime score, 35-7 Baylor. Second down and 2. Washington has been the bell cow today, coming off a game in which he carried it 31 times. He is stopped shy of the marker. Keyshawn Washington makes the tackle, getting downhill from his safety position.
And he's battled through some ailments in this game. He's limped a couple times on and off the field. But you have to love his tenacity, his fight, to still go out there and give it his all for his team.
Third and less than a yard. Washington, patient run, has the first down, pushed forward to the 43-yard line. A gain of 4 to move the chains.
And that's what he does, James, right? It's the tough, gritty yards. The 3-4 yard carries. Every once in a while, you'll see him break one for 10 to 20 yards when a hole opens up. But you can really lean on. He's the workhorse on this Baylor Bears offense.
That was only the second time that Baylor has picked up a first down on third down. A shot deep. Some hand fighting, no flags. Intended for Brown. Overthrown and incomplete. And another Samford player is down. This is the fourth time today that the game has been paused due to a Samford injury. It's Hank Weber, the nose guard who transferred in from Wisconsin.
And James, we talked about it earlier, right? This defensive line has really been hit with injuries in this game, right? Donovan Grayson went out. Corey Warren, we haven't seen him return in the game. And now they're starting nose tackle, Hank Weber.
Look at the middle part of your screen. Big number 60 in the middle. Non-contact.
Yeah, it looks like he grabbed a hamstring right there. Hoping that's just a cramp, right? It is a hot day. I think Madison told us earlier 144 on ground level with the heat right now. So hopefully that was just a cramp and nothing soft tissue.
Yeah, and guys, I actually just checked the turf thermometer, and it's now up to 146. You do wonder how the heat is affecting some of these players, especially some of the starters that have to play deeper into the game than initially planned. On the Samford sideline, though, a lot of guys sitting down, not as many guys standing up as we saw there in the first half. The same is true on Baylor's sideline. Still a lot of energy, though, between both sidelines.
Yeah, these guys look tired. Weber gets to the sideline. The big fella will hydrate and try to get back on the field. Up the gut, Michael Turner's first action of the season. They are really high on this freshman from North Richland Hills, Texas.
Yeah, was banged up in training camp, working his way back from injury. Talking to the coaching staff, they wanted to get him going in this game as well.
Turner between the tackles, stonewalled, no gain. But he's a physical runner with downhill style. Over 2,000 yards rushing his senior year in high school and 25 touchdowns.
Nice job by the offensive center. Colton Saraki does a nice job climbing up to the next level, getting that linebacker, opening up that A gap for Michael Turner on that first down run.
3 minutes deep into this fourth frame. Robertson still at quarterback for Baylor. He has had all day to throw. A clean pocket time and time again, and he hits Lewis Brown. Transfer from San Diego State for a gain of 9. 2 flags are out in that holding zone.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Cunningham hit him late. Take a look.
Correction, the penalty is half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, as a defensive lineman, you're usually going to get a step and a half. But when you start to throw somebody down, you even see Sawyer Robinson like, come on, ref, what are we doing here, right? And if you're Conroy Cunningham, he's one of the leaders on this team. He does a lot of the gritty, dirty work that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. You just got to be smart right there. I know you won on the edge and you rushed the quarterback, but you got to pull up and not hit the quarterback late there.
It's only the second time that Robertson has been hit all day. Samford has just 1 sack. Fade route to Brown. Put it on the money. 10-yard touchdown toss. Robertson's 3rd touchdown pass today.
And James, we talked about it in the opening. Sawyer Robinson throwing with touch. This is a simple fade route off a play-action pass. He puts this where only Lewis Brown could catch the ball. Like, the defensive back had no chance right there. Talk about playing good defense. That's better offense right there. Putting it out in front for Lewis Brown. And you talked about redeeming himself. He does it right there with that touchdown catch in the red zone.
41-7, our new score. First touchdown for Lewis Brown, the 5th. Here at Baylor, 42-7. Our new score in Waco.
Touch pass from Sawyer Robinson to Lewis Brown to get the Bears on the scoreboard in the second half.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN here in Waco, Texas. With Lige Douzable, I'm James Westling. Madison Hawk downstairs, roaming the sidelines. 42-7, Baylor on top. But that last touchdown, Baylor's first score of this second half. It was an over for both teams in the third quarter.
Yeah, James, that was the first time I would say in the second half where we saw Sawyer Robinson really throwing in rhythm and being on the same page with his receivers. Kelsey Johnson had a crucial drop. Lewis Brown had a whole play on a screen play to Kobe Prentice that would have went for a touchdown, but he makes amends on that fade right there in the red zone. Sawyer Robinson put it where only his receiver, Lewis Brown, could come down with a touchdown catch.
Ensuing kick in the end zone for a touchback. Look at the discrepancy between Baylor's offense in the first half and then here in the second half. And keep in mind, 88 of those 147 yards came on that last drive.
Without a doubt, and that's why Dave Aranda kept his offense out on the field. We talked about it earlier, James. There's been some substitutions on defense because they've played up to the standard, but the Baylor offense in the second half has not played up to their standards until that last drive. So would honestly be surprised if we see any more of the starters for the Baylor Bears offense going forward.
Samford has brought in their backups, playing with the backup quarterback, Brady Stober. Then it's been Ken Cherry and Cam Bland in the backfield most of this second half at running back. Underneath to Ward. Ward is an impressive-looking freshman. That's his third or fourth grab today. Just 3 yards there, but he had some big-time receptions in the first half.
Yeah, you talk about that double pass that was thrown up like a lollipop that he had to go and high point the football and come down with a big-time catch. So they have to love what they've seen from the freshmen so far in this game.
This will be a tough out once they get into SoCon play. They nearly won the conference a season ago. Samford enters this game 0-2 on the year. They have a tough schedule. They still have games after this. They play Texas A&M in November. They seem to play an SEC school about every year.
Yeah, for Coach Hatcher and this team, it comes down to the turnovers. It was a bugaboo again for them this game, right? 14-7, opportunity in the red zone to potentially tie it up, and then you turn the football over. So that's something they have to rectify, because if you lose a turnover battle, man, the percentages go way up for you to lose the game. They have to fix that.
Some really good things today from the Samford defense. This is 3rd and 5. Stepping up and climbing the pocket and taking a shot deep. It's intercepted. Drifting into coverage. Gifford with the pick.
And it's a nice job rotating from the right to the left. He starts off on the right hash trying to disguise. They send some pressure, and then he just tracks the ball. It's almost like a punt play, right? Him being a punt returner. Does a nice job right here. You're going to see in the middle of your screen. Watch him go up and get the interception. Micah Gifford, big turnover for the Baylor Bears defense. Welcome back to McLean Stadium. Sawyer Robertson has an up and down day today. Right here you see him getting the ball to his big receiver, Josh Cameron, on a fade route. Kobe Prentice, all he does is catch touchdown passes, James, on a screenplay. But he's also had some mishaps right there. LaShawn Young on an interception. Ill-advised throw right here on the outside. Gumbo Gaskins interception, but he bounces back. Finds Lewis Brown in the back of the end zone on this fade route for a touchdown.
Week 1 against Auburn, over 400 yards. Did it again last week at SMU. 211 today against this Samford team, and he is on the sideline. New quarterback, the freshman Nate Bennett, hands it off to Knighton. No gain on the carry.
And the coaching staff really likes Nate Bennett. They say he's a bit of a gunslinger now. Again, they're up big, so it'll be interesting to see if they actually drop back and let him pass the football. But he's a guy that literally likes to spin it all the way around the yard. Now, he's not physically as imposing as Sawyer Robertson, but he's a guy that can really rip the football.
Yeah, they said in practice he's either throwing a pick six or a touchdown. He can spin it. Reeled in for a gain of 11. And a first down to Mason Dawson.
It's a nice shot working left to right. Dawson comes open on this dig route, and you put it right only where the receiver can catch it. So that's a nice first throw by Nate Bennett. Dawson kind of got banged up on that play, had to limp off to the sideline.
Bennett, 6'1" freshman from Westlake Village in California. threw for over 6,000 yards and 76 touchdowns his prep career. Was a 3-star recruit. Gets it to the sideline. Weaving ahead for a gain of 3. A hard hit. Ja'Cory Watson on the receiving end.
A little screen play right there. It's a nice block on the outside by Cody Maldinka. He does a really good job taking his defender all the way to the sideline.
Going back to Watson. And Watson gets cut down by his shoelaces at the 50. Jalen Nelson with back-to-back tackles sets up 3rd down and 6 for the Bears offense.
So we were wondering, James, that they would actually let Nate Bennett spin it with them having a decisive lead, but they've come out here and let him throw the ball around. It's his first 3rd down. Let's see how he goes through his progressions and potentially finds a playmaker for a 1st down here.
He threw 2 passes as a true freshman last year, was able to save his red shirt. Hands it off up the middle here. Good for a 1st down. Knighton with a hard-earned run. Really like Caden Knighton. True freshman from Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. That's a gain of 9.
And you love the call by Jake Spavital because right there you're thinking 2-down territory, right? We're going to run the football. Nice job by the offensive line. You talked about Knighton being physical right there, running through a couple tackles and picking up that 1st down.
Bennett with pressure in his grill floats it, and it's almost caught. He was looking for his tight end.
I mean, I love that he stared down the barrel sidearm, and he puts it where only his tight end could catch the ball. That's Carson Sloan coming up the middle on the blitz. But love the toughness by Nate Bennett, right? Staring down the pressure and know exactly where to go with the football.
Carson Sloan laid the wood on the quarterback. It's 2nd down and 10. Bennett hands it off. And Dodds is stacked up. Lost 2 yards on the play, and it's 3rd and long. Still a lot of starters in for the Samford defense. Should add that. They have really flocked to the football.
Yeah, they've done a really good job coming to the ball in bunches, and that's their all-world linebacker, Jaden Mosley. He does a nice job beating that pulling guard around. He's able to get up under that block and get a tackle for loss.
3rd down and 12. Baylor today 3 for 11 on 3rd downs. Bennett play action. Bouncing on the balls of his feet. Lobs it towards the boundary as he checks it down to his running back to make it 4th down after a gain of 6. Now, will Baylor go for it with the backup quarterback on the field?
I believe they will. This is just how they play the game for Baylor, right? It's all analytic based right now. Now, again, you're up big. Maybe you kick a field goal. Maybe you punt it. But you want to go through these scenarios, right? Because you just never know who you're going to need to depend on later on in the season.
Respect all, fear none. Their team slogan, 4th down and 6 to gain. Bennett, incomplete. And Baylor turns it over on downs. It was trapped.
It's an incomplete pass. This is a turnover on downs. Samford ball, 1st down. Timeout on the field.
Another true freshman on the field. Taz Williams couldn't reel it in.
Yeah, on the comeback route here, Taz Williams slips, messed up the timing between quarterback and receiver. The Bulldogs defense get off the field.
Baylor defense has feasted on takeaways today with 4 turnovers.
G.J. Coleman early starting it off, getting his helmet on the football, ball pops up. Quincy Crittenden, ill-advised throw. LeVar Thornton goes and tracks that down. Everybody is getting in on the action. If you're head coach Dave Aranda, you have to love how your defense played. This is Micah Gifford right here. Middle field safety going to track that ball to get another turnover for the Baylor Bears.
And Samford has turned it over 9 times in their last 2 games, more than anybody in the country, FBS or FCS. Charlie Gilliam has checked in at quarterback. Here's the Baylor defense getting better throughout the course of the season, just like they did a year ago.
Yeah, without a doubt, right? First game, over 300 yards given up. A lot of that was Jackson Arnold with his mobility. They kind of mitigated Kevin Jennings and his running ability last week from SMU, but you really love how they came out today. Less than 200 yards given up total on defense.
$188 allowed in just 7 points. 4 takeaways for this Baylor defense. They have all the backups in now. With less than 6 minutes to play in the game, Samford's 3rd-string quarterback is on the field. They run it between the tackles with Cherry weaving his way ahead, make it Russell for a gain of 3 yards, and it's 3rd down and 7 for the Dogs.
Yeah, both of these coaching staffs talked about if the game got away, they wanted to try to get some of these younger players in the game. Because again, James, you just never know as the season progresses who you may need to depend on, right? Guys get dinged up all the time. So this is great game experience for a lot of these young players that would normally not play in a game.
How would you rate this game? Give Baylor collectively, all 3 phases, a letter grade for this game.
I'm Dave Aranda, just knowing him and talking to him, he's probably going to say C, right? I would say B- because on offense, right, you just weren't in rhythm at parts of the game. I mean, Sawyer Robinson was, I believe, leading the FBS in pass yards per game going into this game, and they just couldn't get the downfield passing game going. Like, him and the receivers weren't on the same page. Now, special teams and defense, I would say A+, right? They've done a really good job. 4 turnovers, you talked about it. Had a block punt as well, and I thought the punters punted really well for Baylor. But that's what it goes back to what head coach Dave Aranda talked about, James. Complementary football. Everybody doing their job, and that spurts the offense. Didn't do that today.
Noah Jones on to punt for Samford. There weren't a ton of explosive plays by the Baylor offense today. They had one 57-yard touchdown called back because of a holding penalty. A lot of their points coming off of turnovers and those short fields created by the defense. A sideways hop out of bounds. Just over 4 minutes to go. Baylor on top 42-7. They've got the backups in now on both sides of the ball. Nate Bennett is quarterbacking the offense. A 42-yard punt. Samford will drop to 0-3, but when they get into SoCon play, the final score of their game last week was very misleading against an in-conference opponent, the Citadel. They'll be in the mix.
Yeah, their biggest issue is what plagued them again today, James. Turnover. You talked about it, right? I believe 9 turnovers in just the last 2 weeks. 14-7 game versus an FBS opponent. You have an opportunity to tie the game up, and you have a crucial turnover. They have to mitigate and stop the turnovers if they want to compete in the SoCon conference.
Baylor content to run the football between the tackles. A 3-yard pickup for Michael Turner. It's his 3rd carry today. 5 different rushers this afternoon for the Bears. Baylor has a big one 1 week from today at home against Arizona State, the defending Big 12 champs. Another opportunity for Baylor to really put themselves back on the map, if you will.
Yeah. And Arizona State's going to be highly motivated after losing at Starkville last week. A lot of people picked them as winners of the Big 12 to go to the college football playoff. So that's going to be a very intriguing game here in Waco, Texas next week.
Turner again, a gain of a couple. Well, Sawyer Robertson's streak of 400-yard passing games will come to an end today. Finishes with 211. Still had 3 touchdowns. Threw his first interceptions of the season. Finished with 2 there. Completed 62% of his passes.
Yeah, James, at times feel like he pressed a little bit, especially on that interception by Gumbo Gaskins, right? There was a flat defender with a safety over the top. Should have just went to his check down right there. But a lot of times, as a quarterback, you get in those scenarios where things aren't working out and then you start pressing a little bit. I love that he was able to calm down on that last drive, pass the ball around, and then find Lewis Brown for a big-time touchdown on a fade route in the red zone.
Bennett delivers a strike to Taz Williams for a gain of 11 and a first down for the Bears, who can take it down to the 2-minute timeout. Baylor will be above 500 for the first time this year and set the stage.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
2 minutes left here in Waco. It's Baylor on top, 42-7. There is the statue just outside the entrance to McLean Stadium of Baylor's only Heisman Trophy winner, RG3, Robert Griffin III. Sawyer Robertson was putting up RG3 type numbers until this game today. 211 yards passing, had a couple of interceptions, but a big one next week for him against Sam Levitt, who a lot of people had before the season as maybe a Heisman contender, the quarterback at Arizona State.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice quarterback duel next week. Sawyer Robertson versus Sam Levitt. You see Robinson right there. 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. And we talked about it in the beginning, right? He's a protector of the football, but he had 2 costly turnovers today. Again, the offense at times just didn't look like it was in sync. But I'm sure he'll be eager to bounce back next week versus a conference opponent.
And Baylor just always seems to have a good quarterback. RG3, Charlie Brewer, Bryce Petty, just a pipeline of quarterbacks. Even Nick Florence was really good for a couple of years.
Yep.
And Robertson is just another guy, a long lineage of outstanding quarterbacks here at Baylor in the Big 12. Turner getting the workload in this fourth quarter. We'll roll under a minute to go. 42-7, Baylor only scored 1 touchdown in the second half. was kind of a rough third quarter for the Bears, but this game was in control at halftime.
Yeah, a couple turnovers, a couple 3-and-outs, and they finally got it going towards the back end of the third and the beginning of the fourth quarter. The offense wasn't synced in, but your coach Aranda, that's a coaching point, right? We can't come out lackluster in the second half. Like our defense, they were up to the task, but our offense was not up to the task coming out in the second half. I know that's something that he'll lean on as they watch film this week and prepare for Arizona State.
Arizona State next Saturday, and then it's at Oklahoma State. Baylor does not have to leave the state of Texas. They leave the state just one time to go up to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State. Then they don't leave again until October 25th when they travel to Cincinnati.
That's very favorable, James, right? You don't have to travel or leave your home state besides going to Oklahoma, which is just a state over to play Oklahoma State. So this is an important stretch run right here for the Baylor Bears and head coach Dave Aranda.
Our final score from Waco, Baylor 42, Samford 7. Baylor picked up 468 yards of total offense, equal balance, pass and rush, 245 through the air between the two quarterbacks, 223 yards on the ground. A season high, and Madison is downstairs with the winning coach, Dave Aranda.
Coach, you told me at the half that the second half was going to be a good test for your team. How do you think that your team handled this test?
I thought we struggled through it. I thought there's good leadership on this team, that they were able to cement themselves when we needed some pushing, and we're able to have some success in the second half. It came with a struggle, though, and so there's a lot to learn from this game.
I know you emphasized a lot this week in practice, just wanting to get your run game more established. How were you able to do that against Samford today?
You know, I thought the score probably had something to do with it at the end. I think we still have to run it better. I think those questions of physical O-line play and kind of stout D-line play are still there. Would have liked to fully answer those in this one, and I don't think we did.
Coach, thanks. Good luck next week as Big 12 play begins.
Thank you.
Baylor coach Dave Aranda post-game. Baylor wins it 42-7. The Bears led 35-7 at the half, and Baylor moves to 2-1. For Lige Douzable and Madison Hawk, I'm James Westling, saying so long from Waco. You've been watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Baylor 42, Samford 7. Thanks for watching.